Afadhali mzee ambaye ni mtulivu, ambaye hana haja ya kujaza mifuko yake, ambaye atachunga masilahi ya watu yake, badala ya mdomo tamtamu 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 tamtamu. Lakini akiingia ni wale wa kufanya moja yako, nusu ya mwananchi, mbili yako na tano yangu. Na mnawajua nyinyi mnao.
Kutafuta uongozi kwa kutumia dini au kutumia kabila unagawa watu. Kazi ya uongozi ni kujenga watu wawe kitu kimoja.
The 2.2 billion has been spent in the office of the president and State House between July and September. If you do that calculation, it means that we spend in that office 23 million per day and 1 million per hour. That cannot be sustainable.
Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunakaa kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako.
Nasikia watu wanasema baba ametusaliti. Between baba kutusaliti na sisi kusaliti baba, nani amesaliti mwingine?
Inapeangwa, it mostly goes to foreign ministries. So baba is overqualified for that position.
To build this railways for Africa. So now he's thinking about tumemkataa kama baba wetu.
Unaweza kuwa kuna mtoto ulizaa ukapatia nchi ikuwe inamfanya vile inataka.
Uhuru has been working very hard. Ruto akaenda huko na nguvu. Ruto was never invited in the inauguration.
Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye Sound Candid Talk.
Open Forum Political Discussion Show. The show that gives you an opportunity to air what you feel and think about the latest development.
Tukutane Sound Candid Talk.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for making time to join us. This is Sound Candid Talk, Open Forum Political Discussion Show, the show that gives you an opportunity to air what you feel and think about the latest development on our political front. Well, a lot is taking place. Everyone must work hard to stay on the cutting edge as far as making sense of our politics is concerned, and of course, in the process, being able to tell where we come from and where we are going, and therefore we can know how to prepare to get there. Well, the unlikely has happened. There are certain outbreak of violence in Kisii over Kisii-Nyamira border dispute. The police had a hard time controlling and containing the situation in Keroka market today as businesses were disrupted, of course, and all day of chasing, tear gassing, and all manner of violence and losses being faced by already hard suffering Kenyans. What is cooking in Kisii? What is cooking in Nyamira? In all this, the both governors of Kisii and governor of Nyamira were missing in action and were nowhere to be seen or be heard on the matter. So we call upon you tonight to help us make sense what's cooking in Nyamira, what's cooking in Kisii, and why now do we have this outbreak of violence in this particular part of the nation. Now, beside that, we are also looking at the story of one William Ruto. After he's unable to justify the housing levy, he now turns to the Bible and says he is determined to do affordable housing because Jesus said, I did not have shelter and you did not accommodate me. So he says he's avoiding to be questioned by Jesus why he did not have a shelter. That is called, I don't know what to call it, but woodwinking Kenyans using scriptures to justify one's way of doing whatever he wishes to do. I don't see where the Bible comes into the housing levy when the courts have pronounced themselves to it and say it's unconstitutional. It does not meet, it doesn't have the legal framework that makes it viable. And then, of course, the homeless people are on the streets right now. It is 15 minutes after 11 o'clock in the night, East African time. Go to the city center right now. You'll find people sleeping on the pavement, covered themselves with sacks, others just with rags. Those are the homeless people that Jesus was talking about, that you have abandoned on the street. And now you're displacing more by, of course, demolishing houses in the pretext that you want to build affordable housing. William Ruto, you are messing up a big deal. And I don't know why church people are accommodating you into the excesses that you are visiting on the scripture by trying to justify your wayward way of doing things. So we'll be looking at that scripture excuse by William Ruto to continue taxing Kenyans in the pretext of affordable housing. Karibu kwa show kila moja, naomba tafadhali tumakinike. And then, of course, we'll be looking at the enigma, Raila Odinga. He's determined on the issue of every defecting member of parliament should face the electorate once again. There is no more crossing of the floor from one political party to another automatically. You will have to face the Kenyans afresh so that they give you fresh mandate on your newfound party affiliation. So things are heating up politically and otherwise. We are calling upon you to be on the forefront in ensuring that this is happening rightly. So please, let's be on the forefront. Invite somebody to join into the discourse. Share that link with everybody in your life. Make sure that you're following closely. We are live on X. We are live on Facebook page, Sound Candy Talk, X Sound Candy Talk, as well as all our YouTube channels, Sound Candy Talk Live, and then, of course, Kibali Lounge. Thank you so much for being here. We are also streaming on Ngozi M. Bernard Facebook page. So whatever serves you well, make sure that you're following through. And we can't forget our TikTok family that is growing strong following this program and other programs. Asante sana kwa kila mmoja. Naomba tumakinike katika sekta kila mmoja wetu kuhakikisha kwamba kuna anayesalia nyuma. Share your link. Tekeleza tu wajibu wako kama unavyojua. karibisha mtu, kumbusha mtu, and then of course participate into our poll question, which we are asking. Do you support Raila Odinga's call to all defected members of parliament to go for fresh elections? Are you in support of the same? Well, on Sound Candid Talk Live, 6 votes have already been cast, and all of them are in favor of Raila Odinga's demand that all who wants to change political parties and midstream should seek fresh mandate from Kenyans. On Sound Candid Talk main channel, 21 votes already cast, and of the 21 votes already cast, 95% say yes, only 5% say no. So which is which? Where are you on this? And how do you relate to the same? Because we must get our act together in ensuring that whatever that is going on in this country is framed within the provision of the Constitution, as well as in safeguarding humanity, and then making sure that everything is flowing well. So quickly, Ruth Wamboi, karibu kwa show. Asante sana kwa kuwa hapa. Mary Wainaina, asante sana kwa kuwa hapa. Karibu kwa show. William Wadilo, welcome to the show. Msimamo wetu huyo, karibu kwa show. Asante sana. Esther Stoll, welcome to the show. Thank you so much. Freedom, karibu kwa show. Asante sana kwa kuwa hapa. Nani huyu anaitwa Trufosa Lai, karibu kwa show. Asante sana. Boss Lady, welcome to the show. Angela Wamboi, welcome to the show. Asante sana kwa kuwa hapa. Freedom hapa nasema, why are they fighting now? First it was Kericho Sondu, and then Baringo, now it's Kisii. What is the government benefiting from these clashes and killings? An interesting question there by Freedom. Let's respond to the same. Freedom says, I'm well, thank you. Okay. And then here, Robert anasema hivi, let us put the story straight. The people themselves are not fighting. The tax collectors of both sides are the problem. The town residents are being double taxed due to lack of boundary. Okay, this is Robert explaining the situation in Kisii-Nyamira border. He said the problem is not the people, and the problem is unclear border between Nyamira and Kisii. And all of this is born out of tax collection. The people of Nyamira and the people of Kisii seem to be double taxing people when they have already made their tax or whatever obligation. And so I believe this is something that is interesting. We need to look at it closely, because why all this? Why all this? And then, of course, even the issue of Sondu was issue of tax. And so where are the boundaries? Why are they not clear? And then, of course, the market. If the market is on the border, why can't it be defined exactly where it belongs? Or if it is to be shared, then let there be an agreement. Nyamira, Kisii is one family, it's one people. Why would there be conflict and, of course, violence by reason of a simple matter like getting the people to settle down and say, we register these shops, they belong to Nyamira, and these shops, they belong to Kisii. And of course, people trading in certain places, they have been either licensed or been authorized. So why would there be an overlap in taxation? Well, let's look at it keenly. And inaonekana ni utepetevu tu wa watu fulani ambao hawapendi kutekeleza wajibu wao ipasavyo, kwa hivyo wanaendeleza uovu kwa kutowajibika kazini kwao. Swala la border districts, all of them, all bordering whatever, border markets and border shopping centers, they need to be well drawn out. Why are they left in gray area and therefore result into loss of businesses, loss of lives unnecessarily? So let's all engage in this, and I would want people on the ground, especially those of you that are from Kisii, to help me make sense of this. I am not too familiar with the whole terrain of the place, but I think I don't see where the conflict should arise. In my understanding, these are not far-fetched. In fact, there was supposed to be one county. I don't know why this should be a problem. Majority of the people who are in leadership in Nyamira live in Kisii. So why would there be conflict because of taxation and unclear boundary? And why should the boundary become a big deal if it's not for the money? Haya, tuangalia masuala haya. Asante sana. Alex Media hapa nasema Kisii leadership struggles are punitive to our residents. Like it or not, Keroka is a booming town. Simba is diverting attention from his poor performance to constant wrangles. Alex, mimi sikuelewi. Labda ukuje usubstantiate. Mimi sielewi mbona what is it about Simba Arati and not performance? I've not had any problem with the performance of Simba Arati so far, unless you have more light that I don't have. But wrangles over taxation, haya. Tungoje tuone. Haya basi tuanze na hiyo story. Link ya kutumia kuingia studio sijui nimekupatia ama sijakupa. Naomba ndio hii kaitumie kuingia studio tukaseme masuala haya kwa kina, kwa sababu mimi naamini kwamba hakuna lisilo na mwanzo ambalo halina mwisho, na kuna suala ambalo lina utata lisilowezwa kutatuliwa kama wahusika watamakinika na watawajibika katika kutekeleza kazi hiyo ipasavyo. Kwa hivyo karibu mahala pote ulipo, tafadhali usicheze mbali, kaa papa hapa ili tumakinike kwa pamoja. Naomba sasa nicheze hiyo video tunapoanza mazungumzo haya ili tuelewe masuala jinsi yanavyokuja na jinsi yanavyo semekana kutoka kwa huu mzozo ambao umekuwa Keroka leo siku nzima, biashara kuharibika kwa sababu ya kutoelewana. Wacha tusikilize hii alafu tuanze kuchangia. Karibu kila mmoja, karibisha mtu, hiyo namba ya watazamaji ipande tafadhali, usitulie mpaka tufike 100+ kama kawaida. Asante sana.
Polisi katika eneo la Keroka wamelazimika kutumia vitoa machozi kutuliza mamia wakazi waliokuwa wakizua vurugu katika mpaka wa Kisii na Keroka. Vuruma hili likisababisha kusitishwa kwa huduma na shughuli za kawaida eneo hili. Na kama Crispin Otieno anavyoarifu, fujo zilianza baada ya vibanda katika eneo hilo la mpakani kuharibiwa leo asubuhi.
Ndivyo hali ilivyokuwa mjini Keroka mapema Jumapili. Wafanyabiashara wanaonekana wakifunga virago baada ya firimbi kupigwa kuashiria hali ya hatari hapa. Kina mama, wachuuzi, wasafiri na vijana wakionekana wenye wingi wa mawazo hapa. Hali si hali. Baada ya muda kidogo, eneo hili likawa uwanja wa makabiliano. Makabiliano haya yakianza kati ya maaskari wa kaunti ya Nyamira na wenzao kutoka Kisii. Vitoa machozi vikateka anga Keroka. Maafisa wa kupambana na fujo wakijaribu kutuliza hali hapa. Wengine wakionekana kukabili wenzao kwa mawe. Maduka mchana kutwa yalisalia kufungwa kwa hofu ya mashambulizi. Kamsa zikazidi kuteka anga Keroka. Kila mtu ni mguu ni ponye. Tulitaka kujua kiini cha mzozo wa leo hapa, wakazi wa Nyamira wakielezea hali hii.
Hakuna hata siku moja gavana hata mmoja amesaa pia Keroka kutuambia juu ya hii issue ya mipaka. Hakuna hata gavana mmoja, which means the two governors wanataka tupigane. Kama wangetaka tupigane wangekuwa wamesafika Keroka watueleze mipaka.
Ile kitu tunasema ni kwamba wajitokeza hapa hivi waonyesha wananchi ya kwamba mpaka imefika wapi. Sababu hata kama tunajua, tunaona ni vita tu inaendelea na watu sasa wafanyi biashara.
Upande wa Kisii nao ukizungumzia kile wanasema ni chanzo cha mzozo huu.
Leo asubuhi nimeamuka saa 1 Nikipigiwa simu kutoka kwa nyumba, eti vitanda ya wanabiashara wa Keroka imeanza kufunjwa, watu wameanza uhalifu. Wetu waongeleshwe. Vile mnaona watu hapa ndio wanachukua mali yao.
Matia gasi akitupwa ndio najiuliza asigari wetu wakiwa katika Keroka, mji ya Keroka, kazi yao ni kuchunga wananchi wafanye biashara.
We are tired of these conflicts. Please, Mr. President, we are appealing to you. You know that very well Mama Mboga has supported you.
Baadhi ya viongozi wakisisitiza umuhimu wa amani eneo hilo, kwani wote ni wa jamii moja. Maafisa wa usalama kutoka pande zote mbili wamefanya mkutano wa dharura kujadili zogo hili la mpakani. Hali ingali tete katika soko hili la Keroka kwa mara nyingine, huku wakazi katika eneo hili la mpakani wakizidi kutoa wito kwa viongozi kutoka pande zote mbili kushirikiana kwa pamoja kama njia mojawapo ya kutuliza uhasama katika eneo hili la mpakani. Crispin Otieno, Runinga ya Citizen, Keroka.
Haya mambo yamekuwa hivyo kule Kisii, kwa mpaka wa Kisii na Nyamira. Inatokana na mzozo kwamba mpaka haueleweki uko wapi, na watoza ushuru wanavuka pande zote wakitoza ushuru wa wafanyabiashara mara mbili. Huu utata wote na confusion sijui inaletwa na nini. Naomba tafadhali tumakinike tunapoanza uchambuzi wa leo. Karibisha mtu na hakikisha kwamba unahusika moja kwa moja. Mami, sijui kama uko na mbio ama tuanze na Alex kwanza.
Ansa na Alex kwa sababu wanajua vizuri what is going on Bernard.
Good. Alex, tulete up to speed. What's cooking?
Shukrani sana Bernard. Kwanza kwa sababu umeamua kuongea majira ambao Wakisii wanaendelea kuyaona katika serikali ya William Samoei Ruto. Hili jambo ni la kuhuzunisha sana, kwa sababu mimi ninavyoangalia vita hivi ni kumpinga Simba Arati. Maana wakati baba alienda kuongea na Ruto, alimwambia tafadhali wachana na kijana wangu. Ukamuona Kindiki akikuja ili tutatue shida ya Osoro na vile aliua watu. Lakini katika State House iko watu wako so powerful more than Ruto, na hawa watu hawamheshimu. Anapotuma Kindiki kule, Osoro na watu wengine pia wakatuma askari kule, na walijua kile walikotaka kwenda kufanya. Sasa uliona chenye walifanya. Kitu ya kwanza walifanya ni kuleta askari wengi. Walileta askari wengi Kisii kabla hata huu mzozo haujafanyika. Sasa jambo tunauliza, askari walikuja lini? These are paramilitary forces that came. How did they come before even the wrangle start? Those are the questions that we must ask and start understanding that is it a script they are playing? Baba, it looks like he has reiterated in say the leader of ODM might be Mbadi, but the person that must take the mantle is Simba Arati. I don't know why Baba is insisting on that. Now, being an insistence, I think the people in State House are looking like Simba Arati is going to be a popular leader, because first and foremost, the guy has everything that takes to be a national leader. The guy has money, the guy has charisma, the guy rhetorically can speak, and the guy does not fear anything. If it's about goons, he can be a goon. If it's about articulation, he can be an articulate person. If it's about money and bankrolling, he has bankrolled so many things by taking almost 36 MCA to stay in China for 1 month so that they can see how the development issues as pertaining Kisii, we can do all this. The problem that Simba Arati did was to go to State House when we were having maandamano, and he brought this problem to himself. Now, he cannot divorce himself from this issue. I wish he understood that he has made a big mistake so that he can openly apologize to our people and to the nation because when succession politics was being talked, Simbarati name kept on cropping up. Oparanya is not cropping up. Joho is not cropping up. All these people that are, even Mother Karua National, it's not cropping up. But somehow people identify Simbarati. Now, according to the intelligence which Ruto deals with, Simbarati is a threat to him. And that is why they must finish him before. You know, having a kinglet is something that is very difficult, that you nurture. And those are the things, Bernard, biblically, we must talk about and say there are two things that Baba made a mistake. First of all, there is a difference between murder and killing. A leader of a nation is allowed to kill, whether politically or physically. But he should not murder like David used dubious issues so that he murdered Uriah. Baba contains some people who brings problem within his circle. When you form a formation, you must understand when it's dead. And you must raise up leaders who will take over because the cause is too big for other people to understand. So Baba should also understand that he should not entertain any more people like Jalano, people like Karoli Omondi, people like Ojiambo, the senator for Kisumu, because these people are also in Kisii. If you look today in Kisii, the women rep is against. It is only yesterday that Onyonka had to reconcile with Simbarati, and Baba made sure they had to do that. So Simbarati is being fought by the money that's coming from State House, bankrolling it, and Simba does not know how to deal with this issue. He should ignore them and do what he ought to do. Simba hasn't gotten money for the last 3 months to bankroll the activities of Kisii, but yet personally is able to pay some things. I don't know how, if they are getting money from loans from banks also, so that they can do what? They can pay nurses and other devolved function. But better than I can tell you, the Kisii politics is going to be hot. Osoro has been put in a soup so that he can totally and completely destroy Simbarati at the expense of everything. If you know what Keroka is very vibrant, Bernard. A lot of money comes from it. So the road in, one road like Simba went and put ODM money in it, umbrellas, and he bankrolled them. The other side, Nyaribo was not able to do that. So you look at Kisii side and you look at the Nyamira side, it is very pathetic. And I think such kind of factionalism from leaders should stop completely. Simba should not have done that. If he had done and he was a leader, because we look at him as a national leader, not even as a local leader, angeweka hizo mwavuli kila mahali. So my take is this. I think Simba has handled this issue in a wrong way, but he has still time to handle it in a better way. Baba came and honestly sanitized Simba. That would be enough. But now the government is pegging on him and Simba is falling into that trap. He shouldn't. He's a national leader. People look at him because of how he has handled himself. So this is an artificial war that has been created by Kenya Kwanza, and it wants to make sure that they win everything. However, I am guaranteeing you, all people in my area, 90% are behind Baba Raila Odinga. So what I can say in finishing is this. Osoro and his people think that we can be swayed. We are not going to be swayed. Simbarati, behave well and deal with this issue once and for all. We must eliminate Osoro. We must eliminate my friend, who is the MP for Chache. We must elevate Kibagendi, because Kibagendi is doing a good job. We must eliminate Jihad as something, a drug dealer who has dominated the politics of Kisii. And also we must eliminate the so-called women rep. And we must ask ourselves, what are they bringing to us? Nothing. They go to complain in the Senate until money is not brought to the Kisii County. Onyonka did that during the Senate investigation of how money is being used in Kisii. And therefore we were blocked from getting money for 3 months. So Bernard, this is a bad issue of people who have what is called vendetta. When you see the loopholes of corruption, other people start complaining. Mainly the leaders of Kisii. They start saying that you are not eating with them. So what? Thank you, Bernard.
Okay, asante sana Alex for that overview and outlook on the whole situation. We believe we'll get a lasting solution to this. And so just clarification. So you tell me there is a clear border because what is coming up, you said there is the side of Kisii where Simba Arati put the ODM umbrellas for the vendors and left the Nyamira section with the vendors of Nyamira. Or there is no border. We can crisscross and work anywhere. Keroka, is it split at the middle or it belongs to Kisii or Nyamira? How do we define it?
Then that border dispute has been there since 1963. The problem is the collection of taxes that comes from Keroka. Keroka is so vibrant. Within Keroka, if you start from Nyandigisi, where the corner is, and you go all the way to Virongo, the taxes that is being collected there is the second largest in Kisii region. Bernard, these are people who have bars like 42 bars with less than 5 kilometers. Day and night, nobody's sleeping. When it comes to merchant selling, Bernard, it is so vibrant. So the problem is not even, the problem is the money that they are fighting for. But you see what? You cannot, I think it should be, like in the US here, Bernard, we have some cities that share. Missouri and Kansas, those are two states. But the Kansas city is shared between them, okay? And the mayor is both on this side and this side. So we do, same as there's one that is Illinois and what? And Missouri. They share the city. The mayor is the same. But the other side is another state, the other is another state. So we must borrow that leaf and understand that in a border situation, what do we do so that our people can do what? Progress. That is the missing link and the missing spice to all these things.
So asante sana, Alex. Thank you so much. A good start indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be on the forefront. Invite somebody, remind somebody, and of course, begin by liking the video. Participate in the poll question. We really need your take on this. Thank you so much. As we continue, sasa tumulete mami naye achangie. Mama Selina, karibu.
Asante sana Bernard. Alex ametuambia na Keroka hata kwa chami yote najua ukienda Kisumu, yani this is hii ni mahali inakuwa na biashara. But my question is, wakati watu wanapigana kwa border between communities, but now these are two brothers. Na wakati walitengeneza county ya Nyamira, penalty ilikuwa ni kupeleka services kwa wananchi. It was supposed to be the Kisii wakuwe na county moja. But now, again, it is because of services. And then Alex alituambia asubuhi watu wengi wanaenda Kisii kufanya kazi, I think so, and then jioni wanarudi Nyamira. I think I'm right, I don't know. But now these people, like, let me take like this, Eldoret and Nandi. Uasin Gishu County, it is mainly Nandis. Na tuko na county ya Nandi. But vile walikawanya Eldoret, wali make sure border inaenda mpaka kufanya port sites. So ile kitu our brothers from Nyamira is hii mambo ya revenue authority penat imelete shida. Alafu hii Kisii ni I think theater market iko kwa hii barabara, kwa sababu unajua ukienda ni kama ile iko Chepilat ama wapi hiyo wamama wanauza mboga hapo Keroka. So hii watu katikati barabara imewakawanya. But they should have harmony. They should have harmony penat kujua Okay, kama mnatoka site ya Nakuru, istahili Nyamira hii wa church. Wakirudi kutoka Kisumu wakikuja hii site ya Nairobi, watu ya Kisii, because hii revenue wameleta wanafanya watu wanaumia. Alafu kuna kitu pia Penat. Na nashukuru Alex amekusa. Now, Simba Arati is the governor of Kisii. And then we have a governor in Nyamira. Bernard, these are two, ni kama bibi wawili ya bwana moja. Another one sasa anataka kukua lesi. Mwingine anatengeneza watoto yake na nyumba yake. And the other one ana complain, baba ni yetu sisi wote na tumenyanyaswa. So, I wanted to ask Alex, wakati baba alikuwa nafungua, wakati tuliona yeye akiwa Kisii, Penat akifungua masoko, hiyo ya kula, hiyo ya kuweka mboga, vitu isikue choto, isiharibike. Tunataka Alex atuambie kwa hiyo soko ilitengenezwa, hata hiyo Keroka bahali yenye iko na wafanyibiashara wengi ilikutwa. Did Simba Arati alichenga the other site, and then now the Nyamira County are supposed to chenga this other site? Ya pili, wale watu wanafanya biashara wote ni moja. Nikikucha mambo ya baba na Ripple, Penat, ile leo niliona kwa wasit South what? Super South. Iyo watu Penat. Oh my God. Iyo mkutano, hata kama ni nani, sidhani, those Ripples already they are finished. Na hii ni mambo tunasema, mzee akiwa kwa boma, anapatia kijana mkubwa boma yake, na ule mdogo ajaoa, hawezi enda kawanyiwa boma kama wengine wako. For me, I'm seeing Raila anatengeneza chama ya ODM. Simba Arati ni vice chair. Na unaona huyu Mbati alikuwa amechapwa sana mpaka hakuweza kukuja parliament. So vile naona Alex anasema ni kama baba anataka kuachia Mbati, I don't think so. Kwa sababu Penat, saa ile ulirushwa na watu, wanajaribu kumuponya, wanajaribu reclaim kiti ya parliament. And then national white kwa chama ya ODM, hata kwa wenyewe watu ya Nyanza. Sijaiona, tumefuata sana, sijaiona Mbati akiwa na that role of a leader. Unakumbuka wakati kiti ya watu tunaita nini hiyo ya parliament, wakati walipatia Wandai, yeye alikuwa nayo, but he was not happy and he was a bitter person. So if you are given leadership today, Penat, na kuna watu wengine wamesaliwa mtoto wengine, you can be a firstborn and your mother has 10 children. Huwezi katasa manduku sako na matata sako wakaripie mama. So for me, I don't see Mbati being anything other than kukua na kiti, whatever. But Simba Arati, na baba ako na akili. ODM si chama ya Nyanza, Luo Nyanza. So Simba Arati akishikilia Nyanza kwa sababu ni mtu ya Nyanza, hiyo chama na yeye ni vice chair, na history yake ya Nairobi, na vile hata sasa anafanya, ni mtu wako na nguvu. Oparanya ameshikilia Western, but Oparanya na baba hawako mbali sana. So we need energy, we want energetic leaders. So for me, I see Arati ako sawa, and kiongozi lazima uonyeshe, na hii uongozi pena ni Mungu anapeana sometime. So the way Arati is coming, yeye si muoga, na kweli wakati baba aliongea chenye aliongea, Matiang'i alikuwa pale. But Aita Raila alisema ukiua na punduki hata wewe utauawa, which means baba amepeana strong support ya kwamba ana defend Arati. So nafikiria kabla hiyo ndiye tuangalie. Otherwise niliona Kalonzo, let Kenyans work up, wacha watu watoke. I really need that. Lakini baba anatengeneza ODM. Hii grouping ya Kalonzo, Gideon Moi, sijui Warias. Yeah, that is a good energy, but wacha tutengeneze fiama, and then after that tutaona. Na ile strong, ile kitu sasa Penat, yes, saa ingine tunaambiwa, ile strong message tunaambiwa baba aendi mahali. Hiyo ni mzuri, kuweka boma yake mzuri, kuweka watoto kusema hata kama nilikuwa nyumba ya mama mkubwa ama mama mdogo tu, yeye ndiye anachukua kila kitu, but still anaweza angalia watoto in both side. So Penat, ile kitu ingine mbaya zaidi ni hiyo mambo ya IT. Watoto wetu wasipelekwe wanyongwe. We don't want to assume that, kwa sababu watu si mchezo. So hiyo ndio message patu tunataka kuambia Kenyans, please. Na hata wale waskari wanatumwa, I think badala ya kuletwa na sanduku, you better resign. Kwa sababu hiyo hakuna tofauti Penat. Na kuna kitu wa Kenya hatujasema, the leader hule inspector, isita assistant inspector general aliletwa Amerikani, mwenye alikuwa akuja aongoze hiyo team ya police. What happened Penat? Alipatikana kama amekufa kwa hoteli, and I think is a Kisii, or I don't know. Kwa nini atuambii huyu mtu amekufa? Government itashughulika, itaambia Kenyans why he was killed. Na kuna ile advance team, kama vile rais akienda mahali Penat, wanatumanga askari mapema. So kama huyo moja mwenye alikuwa na cheo kubwa sana, inspector general, najua alikuwa nalala vizuri hoteli mahali alikuwa nakaa, lakini but now kama hata amujatuma team na already mkubwa yao ameuawa, what does that say Penat? It say a lot of question to our people and the question to the police. So wacha niwachie hapo, but naomba wa Kisii, they are brothers. Hawa ni watoto ya mama moja, baba moja. Na ikiendanga hivyo, Somali iliharibika because they speak one language and they are one people. Burundi, Rwanda iliharibika hivyo kwa sababu ni jamii moja. So please tuchunge hiyo, kwa sababu wakati ilikuwa ni Wakalenjin ama Wajaluo na Wakisii, hapo unaweza sema ni tofauti ya communities, but now these are brothers and sisters. Gavana ya Kisii ni mtoto yenyu, gavana ya Nyamira ni mtoto yenyu. Mali ile mumeharibu leo ni ya Kisii, ni ya watoto yenyu. Kama wanalala njaa, familia watalala njaa. Thank you Penat.
Okay, thank you, Mami, for that. We appreciate it. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we are here looking at the conflict at the Kisii-Nyamira border at Keroka Market. Today, it was violent because of some conflict. Now, like Alex pointed out, and Mami here also looking at it, it appears the conflict that is happening is one artificial, and then it's mainly political. It appears that after Osoro, bringing about those gunshots at the bursary distribution function by Simba Arati, okay? And he has not apologized. He has not been interrogated. He has not been arrested. And so the Baba going to Kisii and reinforcing that Simba Arati must be respected, and the county commissioner should not interfere with the operations and, of course, the functions of the governor. it is now becoming clear that the instigation of this conflict is still political, and the Kenya Kwanza people who want Simba Arati out of the way are the ones who went to the market in the night and destroyed the bandas that belong to a certain group to implicate the other, to instigate this. And so I think great care need to be taken before things get out of hand. And so it is not, the media is reporting it as a border conflict issue, but it appears is just normal conflict that is instigated, whereby somebody does something, then goes to hide and leaves you to fight. And this is bad politics. This is the old kind of politics of causing conflict unnecessarily. I think we should mature up and be able to sort out our differences. And if you don't have political clout, you don't have it. So it should not be an issue of you going to cut people's legs in order for you to be something when you know you are actually nothing. Then about Simba Arati is the vice chair of ODM. Mbadi is the chairman of ODM. Mbadi has been endorsed today as an ODM MP for Super South, I think, where he was an MP before. There was an issue with the ticket right before the elections. That's why he was guaranteed the nomination after the elections. This Galori Omondi was working in Baba's office. He was in the campaign team for Baba. He was a confidant to Baba. Then because of that, I think they gave him direct ticket, or the nominations were not clear. And so Mbadi gets into parliament through nomination, and then Galori Omondi wins the seat through the election. But as soon as he wins, he crosses over to go to the UDA part. And that's why Baba is wrestling. All those seats of the people who joined UDA should be taken back to the electorate to decide which direction is it going to be. And in my perspective, is the right way to go. Kama unaona UDA ndio inafaa, kaa na UDA. Usikuje kusumbua huku eti unataka kuvaa jezi ya ODM na unachezea UDA. Kama unataka kuchezea UDA, vaa yellow. Usivae vingine alafu unaenda kuchanganya watu. Mpaka unachanganya shetani ajui uko wapi, umesimamia kipi. So hii siasa yetu lazima ieleweke. And so I think the DCI and the people responsible, especially the security apparatus, need to move fast into that Keroka issue and address the underlying issues, other than play in the gallery and, of course, get the media to report in a particular pattern to push a narrative that doesn't exist. Well, naona msimamo ashafika. Msimamo vipi?
Nashukuru kaka Bernard, niko mzima wa afya.
Hiyo sauti baba.
bado sipatikani vizuri.
Ni wa sauti utakuwa unaona ile mhubiri wa street.
Ndio.
Itabidi utumie hiyo gear.
Wacha nivute hivyo, maana sasa hii mtambo hii hainipi raha sasa. Nashukuru kwa nafasi hii. Kwanza picha zangu nafikia nimsalimie mama yetu hapo wa nguvu, mama Selina, picha zangu pia. Vile vile pia na upande mwingine ule wa pili wa comment section, na hata kwa wale ambao hawako kwa comment section lakini bado wanasikiza na kutazama. I believe tunaangalia pia wapokeza msimamo. La kwanza kwa haraka ni kwamba haya maneno ya Kisii si masuala tu na mpaka. Mtazamo wangu naona yako zaidi ya mpaka. So
na ni kwa matokeo fulani fulani yametokea nyuma, umeona, baina ya vigogo vya wanasiasa wa kule wanaomenyana kiaina na kuvutana, kupimana nguvu. Walipimana nguvu kimakole, sasa wanapimana nguvu sasa, nani yuko kwa serikali na mwingine yuko kwa opposition, nani hapa na nguvu zaidi ya mwingine. Sasa hali kama hii, unajua panapopigana fahali wawili basi nyasi ndio humia. Wananchi ni wakati kama huu si wakati wa kugawiwa kwa shilingi 2-3 kuweza kutoa imani ambayo amani mlikuwa nayo tangia mwanzo, hususa kwa jamii moja. Ni aibu, mimi nitasema ni aibu kwa Wakisii wote, aibu. Haina haja ya kukorofishana the same side. Kwa hivyo na Kisii wenyewe haswa na pia viongozi wala watulivu walivalia njuga waweze kutatua mzozo wao, maana wanajua kinachokula mtoto ni nini. Swala lingine ni swala la baba. Hakuna haja ya kubembeleza mtu kama hafai, hakufai na kuona hufai, hana haja pia wewe mfuate na kumbembeleza. So kwa swala zima la watu warudi katika chaguzi, kwa sababu waliwania na tiketi za ODM na mwisho wa siku sasa wako pande ule na huku nako wako, wacha wabaki upande mmoja, wacha wananchi waamue. Mimi hilo jambo sina tatizo nalo Bernard. So Karoli huyo ajipange, arudi kwenye debe, basi mbadi wacha aendelee. So sioni tofauti na ni jambo zuri, kwa sababu hili ndio linaleta heshima katika chama. Unajua kitambo ngie kwa chama kuna misingi yake, kuna mambo yake, lakini sasa Wakenya tumekuwa tunatumia ngome chama cha ODM kuweza kujifikisha katika mamlaka, kisha baada ya kupata mamlaka basi unaachana. Sasa inakuwa ni dau lishavukisha, na likishafika ufukweni basi linageuka kuwa gogo, huna haja nalo. So katika hali kama hii nataka measures zizidi, haswa za nguvu zaidi, haswa wa wale wote waliosaliti chama, basi haina haja, warudi kwenye debe. Sioni shida hapo kabisa, sioni shida kabisa kakaangu bwana. Lingine la kuongezea ni kwamba hiyo swala zima la Haiti kama tunagusia, basi sidhani kama litakuwa na mashiko, maana sijui kama watatumwa aje kimtazamo wangu, lakini kila nikija darubini hivi sioni mashiko kabisa. Lingine la mwisho, nimekuwa kwa kanisa, kisha baada ya kwa kanisa nikarudi nikaingia kwa YouTube, nikaa napekua na peruzi habari huku na kule, nikakuta kuna mhubiri mpya anatufundisha kwamba yeye kufa kwenda kuuliza hujajenga na hujajengea watu, yeye hata kubaliana na jambo kama hilo. Kuwe mvua kuwe jua hata kubali. Kwa maana hiyo ni mwongozo kutoka katika kitabu takatifu hasa cha Biblia kwamba sharti ajenge nyumba. Sasa nikana maswali najiuliza, hivi huu uongo na matumizi mabaya ya Biblia katika kanisa yataisha lini kwa katika hali kama hii? Ama kwa sababu tunaogopa wenye navyo? Hivyo sina usemi mwingi, ni utangulizi tu kakaangu Bernard, lakini sina shaka kabisa kwamba penye nia hapakosi njia. Letu ni kuileta Kenya katika hali ya umoja, Kenya ambayo itakuwa haina ukabila tena, Kenya ambayo tutasimama kuweza kuipeleka taifa letu katika hali na ngazi nyingine haswa zenye kuvutia zaidi. Ili haya yatimie, itabidi umoja wetu, lakini kabla ya yote sharti tufukuze nyani walio katika mahindi, katika shambani, walio katika shambani, tufukuze nyani walio kwenye miti. So hapa kidonda sugu ni uongozi. Let's deal na uongozi, tuonyeshe makali yetu badala ya kupigana sisi wenyewe kwa wenyewe. Ni aibu. Asante.
Okay, asante msimamo, tunashukuru kwa hayo na shukuru kwa ukweli, lakini kulingana na mambo vile nimekaa, si Wakisii wanapigana na Wakisii wenzao. This is not even ethnic conflict. It is business people instigated politically to fight among themselves. Na unajua Kisii being a marketplace, it has everybody. Tuko na Mount Kenya represented, of course, watu wa Western pia wako hapo, watu wa Nyanza wako hapo. It's cosmopolitan kind of, despite the fact that is the dominant communities there are Kisii. But as we look at this, we must ensure that we refuse the old politics of Kanu, the old politics of using what is it called? Using violence to disrupt the order in order for you to cut down on a prominent leader. And like Alex pointed out, it appears that the Arati is targeted, and rightfully so. Arati is the only governor who Ruto has confessed aliwatesa sana, aliwasumbua. Walitaka hicho kiti kwa vyovyote vile, lakini hawakuweza. And so the strength of Simba Arati politically is a threat to William Ruto. And then, of course, they are assigning Osoro to go and cut Simba Arati to size is an exercise in futility in the first place, because Osoro himself doesn't have the stamina, and I don't think he has the mechanism and the capacity to contain. Kama Arati ameshinda Ruto, ni Osoro ataweza. Okay? So ni mchezo wa paka na panya ambao haufai, na kama ni kutafuta uongozi ama kutekeleza wajibu kama viongozi, ni lazima kuwajibika. And that's why we have to have the local leadership. Hiyo swala la nyumba 10, hilo swala la county commissioner, badala county commissioner kuzurura na polisi kudisrupt mikutano. Sisi ndio vitu huwa zinapaswa kuwa zinafanywa, underlying issues. Intelligence iko, watu wanapanga maswala, you diffuse that by calling these parties in good time, sorting those differences. Kama ni lazima tukue na parallel administration ya whatever what we used to call provincial administration, then provincial administration should assume this whatever reconciliation discussion kind of diffusing conflict. Si ati pia nao wanakimbia na rungu na kwenda kukunika na kwamba hawakujua kwamba hii mambo yapo. I thought that's the structure through which the intelligence is communicated, and when there is information, let that information be acted upon in good time. This firefighting is showing off that this country is not functioning, and Kenya Kwanza is not functioning as a government. It is a firefighting kind of reactive administration, and this is looking bad. You saw in Naivasha, wananchi wanafukuza polisi, okay? And inaanza tu hivyo, polisi wataendelea kuanza kufukuzwa until now itakuwa raia ndio wanatawala, polisi hawawezi. So it is I'm calling upon all the factors involved in what is happening either in Kisii-Nyamira. I think the underlying issue should be addressed. But if Osoro is the one behind this and is for political reasons, let Osoro be held to account. Let Osoro be held to account. This other issue of trying to protect what is wrong, okay, defend what is wrong, because what Osoro did is a violation. That violation is needed in order for it to be addressed by the administration. The administration needs to come forcefully and say this is wrong. But Ruto has said nothing about it, okay? That means they are justifying it. Now, when they justify somebody ramming into a meeting and then begins to shoot randomly, then they should not complain when wananchi watachukua bunduki nao waanze hivyo. So kama kweli tuko serious kuhusu inaitwa nini, kuhusu security, then let's give it what it takes. And giving it what it takes means all the people disturbing the peace and the harmony of the people should not be segregated against or treated as if they are kind of a sacred cows. Is Osoro a sacred cow? Is Osoro untouchable? Is Osoro above the law? Tuambiwe ili tuelewe kwamba ikifika kwa Osoro muache tu apite. Yeye ashakaguliwa na yeye ashapimwa na anakuwa supported hata katika maovu yake. Yes, msimamo unasemaje?
Unajua Bernard, ukweli ni kwamba, yani kimtazamo wangu ni kwamba tangia hii serikali ya Bwana Ruto yenye iliingia kwa milango hiyo ya nyuma, nitasema hivyo, samahani, yani lolote ovu kwao kama ni la mtu wao, kwao ni zuri. Lolote ovu ama baya, bora ni la mtu wao, litatetewa kikamilifu. Lakini kama litakuwa kila upande wao, basi unakuta wanalivalia njuga kisingizio sasa cha kuweza kujinadi machoni kwa wananchi, kuweza kujitakasa, waonekane kweli wao waliingia katika mamlaka katika hali ya sawa, wao ni wazuri, wao kwa kila aina hizo. So masuala kama haya ndio tunaona mapungufu mazito, na ndio maana unakuta gavana katika hii serikali hana nguvu kuliko ni county commissioner. Mimi kimtazamo wangu, gavana katika hii serikali yupo tu, sasa afanye kama atachatu wake aachie, lakini county commissioner ni bora hata kuliko ni gavana. Na kama ni county commissioner inarejesha enzi zile zetu za kane, unaona. So mimi sioni kigeni hapa. Kigeni ni kwamba ni jinsi gani wananchi haswa nini kinatuweza tunatumika visivyo kwa tonge la mkononi badala ya kutafuta ulio kwenye safuria ama kwenye mvule. Mbona tutosheke katonge ka mkononi badala ya kutafuta ulio kwenye mvule? Maana katonge ka mkononi ni kale kadogo, unapewa, unafanya vurugu wa mwenzio, utamaliza. Lakini kama utatafuta kiongozi na utasimama kusema nchi yangu tutaongoza na kiongozi atakayetujali, hapo umeutengeneza kwenye safuria ama kwenye mvule, utakula ushibe. Mbona tunatosheka na katonge ka mkononi? Bernard, mimi nitaachia hapo, asante.
Okay, asante sana. Shortly kabla mamia aje, as Panda, thank you so much for the information. It's now clear. Mbadi did not run for the MP seat because he wanted to be governor of Homa Bay. Okay, and Baba prevailed over him for him to step down and leave for Gladys Wanga because he wanted to be Homa Bay governor, and that's when he was guaranteed nomination in case Azimio did not form the government. But if Azimio would have formed the government, he would have been a cabinet secretary. Those were the agreements. So it is not that Kalorio Mondi flawed Mbadi in the nominations or yes, in the, what are they called, the primaries. No. Kalorio Mondi was given the ticket after Mbadi chose to run for governorship instead of member of parliament. And now that he's been called back to take his seat, I think he's set to get that. And I don't think Kalorio Mondi is going to be any challenge to him as far as the MPship is concerned. So the mix-up ilitokea pale ambapo Mbadi alitaka kuwa governor wa Homa Bay. Gladys Wanga pia alikuwa kwa hiyo race, na Baba aliona kwamba let Gladys go, Mbadi will come later. Thank you. Mami, karibu.
Yes, asante Penat. Hii mambo yote ni ya kwamba mambo ya uongozi. And again we have a problem of watu wanataka kupatiwa. You know, when we are really fine, ukitaka kuwa governor, better competition, but again we cannot say that kwa sababu I thought kama Mbati alikuwa nasunguka na baba, kuna watu wanaendelea kufanyia the candidate campaign and then wanaambiwa hii ikifanyika tutafanya hii. So for that one it is good kwa sababu niliona watu wengi walimkambeinia, so I know he's out of governorship kwa sababu yale mambo Gladys Wanga, so she will go for 2 terms Penat. Ni kasi yake. If you do well, ukiangalia mambo yote amekaa sana, that is why leo walisema arudi kwa kiti yake. We go back to Kisii politics. Ama mambo ya biashara Penat, umesema watu wanatoka mbali. I wonder wakati watu wanapiga tear gas, kuna wamama wanakuja kwa soko Penat, wako na watoto kwa mkongo, wanakuja kuuza mboga kupata riziki yao ya siku Penat. That is not a big industry ya kusema hiyo ni wale ya mama mboga the way they call, kwa sababu these are the people wanakuja watu maskini Penat, wanaenda kwa mashamba wanalete chakula yao ndio wakuja wause. So wakati counties wanapigana kweli na hiyo tear gas yote Penat, and you really know that, sisi wote tunajua si watu wote wana pesa ya kuweza kuandika maid ya kuchunga watoto. Unaona mama amekuja hapo na watoto yake 2 ama 3 Penat wause ndio waende. But now unakuja unapiga tear gas. Sasa hiyo chakula hata for real, kama ulikuwa umeweka stock maybe ya 5,000 ama umelete mboga yako Penat, uniambie wakati hiyo tear gas hiyo wamama, kwa sababu nimeona hata watu wako kwa na time ya kutoa vitu yao. Kwa nini kama kuna shida Penat, askari walikuwa sikuje kabla soko itafunguliwa, kama ni ya county wa Nyamira na Kisii, wasimama waseme tuko na issue tunataka kutatua, msifungue kasi. Batu swali langu pia Penat is, wakati Simba Arati alifungua hizo coolers, na ningetaka Alex atuambie ama mtu yote, does hiyo Nyamira walianza yao ama gavana ya Nyamira Patu anataka kutengeneza soko ama kulienda aje? Because this thing is Penat, hata tukiongea story ya Osoro. Osoro is a young leader, is a young man. Pesa inaharibu watu, njaa iko nchi. But huyu Osoro wakati kama endi ako na power, does he even think ati wakati mimi naenda kuumisa watu yangu ya Kisii, my brothers from Nyamira na Kisii, na kuna jamii wako na biashara Kenya msima na wanatulia. You know, you are used. Ukitaka kuonyeshana kifua Penat ya kwamba unashinda wenzako, go to parliament, enda pitisha motion sienya utakuta wananchi yako. So this young man kwanza alienda Kisii, kuna watu wamekufa Penat, kuna watu wamekuwa viwete, na ni kwa sababu ya uongozi yake. And then again today tunaona hata kama hatujaambiwa kama watu walikufa, lakini mali imekuwa destroyed. Na hata kama ni mamesa Penat, kutengeneza hiyo mesa moja, it is not even what it is money. Kutengeneza kitu mzuri, unajua Kenya sahi hakuna bao. So can you imagine, nimekuwa na 10,000, nimejitengenezea kipanda yangu, nimechukua kununua mboga, unakuja kudestroy. Sahi karama iko juu, hata hiyo revenue mnataka kwa hiyo watu, where will you get? You know, sometime Kenya Penat, I think it is a generational thing. Watu wamekosa kukuwa na wisdom. watu yani tulikuwa viongozi Penat, hata kwa Biblia. Si kila mtu angekuwa pastor. Si kila mtu angekuwa ile chief hatutaki kuongea today. Si kila mtu anakuwa mzee wa mitaa. Si kila mtu anakuwa ile mama mkunga ula anaenda kusalisha wa mama wengine. Tumechanganya vitu Penat. In Kenya nowadays, hii generation hii sijui kutoka 30 ama kutoka 40 hawachui wamechanga, you know. Moi ngawa amutaki kusikia mambo ya Moi, but I will still one say Moi alisema na hata ni ukweli, wakati wanaume mnaenda vita na kuna wamama na watoto, samani watu wangewacha hiyo mambo. Nao nyinyi hii generation ya sasa amutaki kujua wamama, amutaki kujua watoto. Pora tu umepata usindi, umepatia vijana ya wenyewe pombe, wengine munapatia pangi, wengine munalipa 500. Where is our country going? Na shida mimi nitalaumu kanisa. I really blame the pastors. Kwa sababu pastors pia wamekuwa ya mfuko ya pesa. Hakuna mahali watu yetu wanapata Pena tunapata mtoto barabarani. Salamia mtoto ya mtu anakuambia I'm not your mother. Anakuambia I'm not your father. Na unajua mtu amemsalamia tu habari kijana yangu. Anakuambia what is that you are calling me? Hiyo ni kukosa heshima Penat. Tunastahili kurudi chini. Ukiona sasa ati imefika today a brother and a sister are killing each other. Ati leo uko na ng'ombe yako Penat, jirani yako ama ndugu yako anakuja kunyang'anya and you work hard for it. I don't know what we can do in our country. If this is how Kenya will go, tunakaribia kuingia Somali. Because sasa hii ni jamii kwa jamii. Tell me, brothers and sisters, sasa wakati itaingia hivyo sasa, usilete mboka kutoka Kisii, sijui mboka yangu ya kutoka Nyamira. Now, kama ni pesa, kama inakolektiwa 100,000 kwa siku Penat, 50,000 iende Kisii, 50,000 iende Nyamira. Kama ni ushuru watu wanataka, share it. Kwa sababu wakati walitengeneza devolution, walitaka uchumi ikuje kwa crown. Hata wakati waliweka, si ati Nyamira ni kubwa sana na Kisii ni kubwa sana, lakini Penat walikuwa na jaribu nje biashara irudi nyumbani ama counties devolution tupigie watu. But it looks like wale walikuwa napanga mambo ya devolution, they knew what they were doing, lakini wale wanakuja kureceive, they don't even know. So mambo ya Kisii inastahili Simba Arati, huyo governor ya Kisii, and these super people, the Matiangis, the nani, the Nyajais, wako kuna watu ya Kisii wako provenant, tulikuwa tunafikiria ni viongozi Penat. So mi nataka kusema Simba Arati as a father of Kisii, Simba Arati tuliona ukipatiwa kiti moja kubwa ya wasee, I know you cannot do it by yourself. Kisii sahi tunaambiwa wanakuwa namba 2 kwa Kenya kwa uchumi Penat, kwa biashara, wakifuatana brothers yetu ya Central walikuwa namba 1. So tukaambiwa Kisii anao namba 2. Hii ni kumaanisha tunataka kwenda ile inasema wale wa kwanza watakuwa wa mwisho. Is something like that coming? Ona Nyanza chenye watu wajafikiria, but if you see the development inaendelea kwa hiyo counties Penat, and na wanastahili kupigana. Kwa nini niliona Simba Arati na Gladys Wanga walisema hoteli mingi sa Nyanza, like ukienda kwa Gladys Wanga, the all business are in Kisii because they share. Na tujaona wakipigana. Chenye niliona ni kwamba Simba Arati anamwambia Gladys Wanga, hey, we are your big brothers. Develop Homa Bay, but still they share. We could want things like that, ya kwamba yale hakuna Homa Bay sinapatikana Kisii, yale asina Kisii inapatikana Homa Bay, Kericho, like that. But we don't have leadership from top. Kama baba analala, sidhani kama nyumba inaweza, inchi ina yumba yumba. We don't have stable government. One, mi nalaumu pia watu wale wanaitwa Council of Elders, kama kulikuwa batu iko, nalaumu wase because amuchakalisha huyu rais chini. Bernard, you want to tell me wase ya jamii yote karibu 10-20 wakienda kweli kukaa chini na huyu rais atawafukuza? Because this is national, hii ni mambo ya inchi. So nyinyi wase mnanyamaza, mnawacha watoto. Sasa kijana mdogo ya 32 years ama 25 years anakuja anasema I'm a leader, na anataka kuongoza na akili yake. Penalty, we are wrong. Hata pastors ni kwa sababu tuko na reverend, tuko na senior pastors na muko na junior pastors. Why? Muko na junior pastor anataka akuje polepole, akuje afike senior pastor, watu waone uongozi yake, ndi at least ya promotiwe. Ama siku hizi kanisa hata mtu mwenye hajajua kusoma, hajashika hiyo Biblia yote from junior pastor anaingia top. We need to penat. There is a lot going on in our country. Na this generation yenye wataki history. We are now complaining. In another 10 years, penat, let me tell you, nobody will be talking. Watu wamejua, hakuna kasi. So what I do, wash. Unasikia mtu wako Kenya na anafanya vitu yenye iko hapa kwetu Amerika. Unasikia, nikwambie pena, dunia imeisha. Give these young people another 10 years ama 20 years. There will not be even election. There will not be anything. Kwa sababu watakuwa tu wanajua Eldoret ni watu ni ngapi. Sisi tunaenda kupika kura na kumbe hii kompyuta hii tunaambiwa ilifanywa kitambo. We need to come back and save our country. Otherwise, tusicheke Rwanda. Rwanda at least wamekaa, wameona shida, wametulia. Hii Somali. Otherwise, our country is losing penat. And where will we take all these people? Hata mukipeleka wale munapeleka nje kuomba kazi. Where are you taking the 50 million people penat? Unless, kwa sababu kuna jamii batu wako na heshima. Kama mimi nimechunga watoto yangu vizuri penat, siwezi kubali ukuje uambukishe mtoto ya nyumba ingine akuja haribu kwangu. Kama wewe kama pastor umediscipline familia yako, alafu kuna jamii watu wamekataa kudiscipline watoto, do you think hiyo watoto yako wataendelea kuwa na discipline penat kama inji yote wakienda nje imeharibika? We need to go back as parents. Mumewachia mate kasi, baba ni computer, simu, text, mama anaingia saa 11 anatupa nguo, anaingia kwa simu. Ajui watoto wamekula nini, wamelala aje. Baba amekaa huko kwa paa ama kwa marafiki ama kwa pool ama nini, anaingia saa 6 ya usiku, wanafanya biashara yake na mama anangoja biashara ile anajua, lakini akumbuki niko na watoto. In the morning, baba anatoka ya kwanza, mama anatoka ya pili, anamwambia mate, tengeneza watoto basi kwa nje. We are messing our country. Thank you, Bernard. We are really messing our children and our country.
Okay, thank you, Mami, for that important information. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we need to have a rethink on how we are going about the organization of our leadership, and then, of course, caring for the future generations. What Mami here is raising up are very pertinent issues, because having different rankings in the society was part and parcel of our African heritage. Jana nilikuwa nazungumza na Alex hapa tukizungumza kuhusu masuala ya pombe. Okay? Pombe ilikuwa ni reward ya wazee. Okay? Watoto hawakuuzishwa kwa vikao vya pombe. Na ukiwa mtoto you looked forward to grow up to maturity so that you also qualify kukaa na wazee ukikunywa hiyo kinywaji cha wazee. Siku hizi hakuna mipaka, okay? Unaona mtoto mdogo ndio ananunulia pombe mzee na mzee ndio ananunulia pombe mtoto mdogo. In the process tunaharibu heshima ambayo ilikuwa inasaidia ku retain order kwa society. That even if you are small boys and you're drunk, then you meet an old man, you run away because you don't want to be reprimanded for practicing what or rather partaking in what is meant for wazee. So ni mabadiliko, lakini haya mabadiliko yapaswa kuwa ya faida. I'm about to play another video here, but let me quickly say, I think ile inaitwa ni ile soko ambayo ilikuwa launched na baba, it was not in Keroka, to the other side of Kisii. So it is not in the dispute place. And then of course, if Keroka is on the border, they should just come with a taxing system. A taxing system, let's say, if Nyamira is the one to collect the tax in the place, then it will be shared so that we don't have askaris wa Kisii na askaris wa Nyamira at the same time. Wacha ikubaliane kwamba all the collections in Keroka will be collected by one administration, but that administration will split the collection because it is on the border and people from different parts of the two counties are making the contribution. So ikubaliane, Nyamira will get 60, Kisii get 40, or Nyamira will get 50, Kisii will get 50. And then hiyo mambo inaisha namna hiyo, lakini kusikwe na askari wote wawili, kukuwe na askari wa sehemu moja, ijulikane askari hao wa blue ndio wanakota nini ushuru Keroka. Sio kila mtu ambaye au wa blue wakimaliza wa yellow wanaingia, wa yellow wakimaliza wengine wanaingia. Let's not kill businesses, and that's was also a message given by Baba. Let's not kill businesses by overtaxing the people who are doing business. Let's enhance the growth of business by being mindful on how we are taxing the people. Ladies and gentlemen, tuendelee kukaribishana. Hebu nione tunaendeleaje katika kupiga kura yetu. Kwa Sound Candy Talk Live naona kura ni 19 tayari zishapigwa. Do you support Raila Odinga's call to all defected MPs to go for fresh elections? 89% say yes, we support. 11% say no. Okay? Kuna wale ambao wanaona ni watu wa defect tu bila kuadhibiwa kisiasa. Okay, on the main channel, Sound Candy Talk, so far 84. Let me just refresh to get how many people have liked the video, because some of us are not adhering to the requirement to like the video before you cast your vote, which we appeal to you. Please don't let us down by failing to like the video. 30 people have liked the video and 84 people have cast their vote. So over 50% have not liked the video. Please, if you cast your vote without liking the video, go back and like the video. Do you support Raila Odinga's call to all defected MPs to go for fresh elections? 94% say yes and 6% say no. So the discipline of parliamentarians staying within their political parties until the next election must be instilled and enforced. And for that to take place, kila mmoja wetu lazima awajibike. Napenda tuangalie swala hili. Kuna masuala mawili hapa. Madaktari wako na mgomo, and then kuna vile polisi wali mishandle demonstrating doctors, and so doctors have resolved they will not take care of police if they fall sick. And this is developing into a serious crisis, and all of it is mismanagement of the demos. The askaris badala walinde wana demonstrate how wanaleta kizaza. Tusikilize hii alafu tusonge mbele.
Switching gears, and the country's health services could be crippled should the doctors make good on their strike threat.
Well, the doctors' union, KMPDU, says it will stage a procession on Monday to the Ministry of Health headquarters, Afia House, and the National Treasury, where they will issue a 7-day strike notice. Now, in the meantime, KMPDU Secretary General Dr. Atela Davji accused the police of a deliberate attempt to eliminate him, saying the shot left him with a cracked skull and brain hemorrhage. Now, the Law Society of Kenya has joined their voice to condemn the attack, terming it as a drawback on the constitutional right to picket. Mary Mwoki reports.
Lying on his hospital bed, the Secretary General of the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, Dr. Davji Atela, recounted how he found himself on the wrong side of the barrel that fired the tear gas canister that sent him straight to a hospital.
To release the letters.
He was on the front line as doctors demonstrated to protest over delays in hiring of medical interns when suddenly he was hit at close range by a tear gas canister. The unionist says it was a deliberate attempt to muzzle him.
This police was already targeting me when I was doing this position because they pointed at me and then shot. So it's a clear attempt of assassination. It's a clear attempt of eliminating me from the position that we are having. From this, I got epidural hematoma, I got a canal fracture, and I've been in the HDU for now the 3rd day. So essentially, it is very important that there's no way a peaceful procession should be met with such a force.
Until the IG prosecutes the rogue officer, KMPDU will not and shall not treat any member of the National Police Service. For the officer who shot Davji, we won't treat him.
On Sunday, the Law Society of Kenya paid him a visit before addressing a media briefing to condemn the attack. LSK President-elect Faith Odhiambo cautioned the government against returning the country to the dark days when citizens could not question or challenge the government, and asked the Inspector General of Police to institute prosecution against the police officer who fired the shot at close range.
Here today we see a situation where the SG was shot directly at by one of the police officers. We are not allowing excuses, and it's quite clear from that video footage that we have seen that it was a direct aim at him. And so to say that it's an accident is unacceptable. We cannot have rogue police officers trying to take the law into their hands. We're in a different dispensation. The Constitution allows people to come together, peacefully picket, and articulate the concerns that they have.
The medics have said they will hold demonstrations tomorrow and lead a procession to the National Treasury and Interior Ministry, where they will issue a 7-day strike notice. They have threatened to cripple services in both public and private hospitals in a nationwide strike until the Ministry of Health posts medical interns and remits school fees for postgraduate students taking specialized courses.
We have begun our go-slow, began on Saturday, and come tomorrow after the demo, we'll give a 7-day national strike notice. Not only to show our displeasure around how the SG has been treated, but also to compel the government to pay the school fees for the doctors in school and post the interns. Because those are the reasons why we went out.
The Kenya National Union of Nurses Secretary General Seth Panyako has also announced that nurses across the country will join the expected doctors' strike if those responsible for the shooting of KMPDU Secretary General Davji Atela will not be arrested. Mary Mwoki, Citizen TV.
Haya, mambo ni kama hayo. Nchi yetu hii ina mambo mengi sana. Zakayo huko anataka kuajiri watu sijui 300 wa kuzunguka nyumba kwa nyumba wakipima watu, wakiwapatia aspirin. Ile hali hataki kuajiri madaktari wala kulipia school fees wala ambao wanataka kuendeleza masomo yao, mpaka madaktari hao wanataka kwenda mgomo. So what is happening in this country? Is it that we don't get it, or we just like creating chaos? Because there is no way healthcare is going to work without you empowering the doctors, and of course those doctors are being facilitated to sharpen their skills in order for them to serve the public. And so the doctors are saying they should be hired, and the interns should be hired, and then those seeking specialized further studies should be facilitated. These are things that can be addressed without a strike, without demonstrations, because it's a government responsibility. So mbona serikali hii inajishughulika na masuala ambayo hayafai? Mpaka saa hii sasa wameanza kusema Biblia ndio imewaambia wajengee Wakenya nyumba. Haya basi, tuangalie masuala haya. Ingia studio, tumia hiyo link, wala ambao mko kwa comment section, ingia studio ukaseme ya kwako. Ningependa tukaze mwendo kuhakikisha kwamba ukweli wa mambo unajulikana. So doctors, we have qualified doctors who are yet to be hired. We have interns who can assist with the administering healthcare to the people that are yet to be hired. And then there are the postgraduate doctors who are seeking specialized studying. They are not facilitated by the government. They are yet to be facilitated by the government. And then huku Zakayo anasema yeye anaenda kurecruit watu 300 ambao watakuwa wanatembea kwa nyumba wakitafuta wagonjwa. So how is that possible? How is that even an approach to sorting healthcare problems? That you hire people, put them on payroll, or give them payment to roam house to house looking for sick people, when there are doctors that are yet to be assimilated into those healthy facilities. This is a government that has priorities upside down. We can't take this anymore. Well, let's engage. Mami, sema ya kwako.
Bernard, watu wanakuja kwa manyumba yetu. Unajua ukienda hospitali, Bernard, you are assured the medication is not expired. Assure you are given the right medication. Corruption ndio hii imejaa. Sasa hii watu wanakuja kwa manyumba yetu kutupatia aspirin na kutucheck. Kwa nini mtuwekee facilities? Tuseme kwa ward, Bernard. Kwa ward tuko na dispensary, yale hospitali kidogo. So why do you want to come to my house to check on me and give me medication? Bernard, are these people killing us slowly, or what is going on in Kenya? How could you even, there were out of counter medication, imekuanga na madhara, Bernard. So is somebody trying to seek in madawa ndio tukuje tupatiwe? I think Kenyans are not serious. Nafikiri tangu 1963 and apart from 1963, sisi wa Kenya, we are not seen a serious threat. Hatujakuwa na hiyo shida ya ukweli ya kwamba we need to be conscious. How can you say, hata wale wamama walikuwa nasalisha wamama, wale makunga, I think that's what they are being called, wanapelekwa training, wanaenda huko hospitali. But now, and it is not safe. I don't want to talk that because it is not safe kwa mama kutiliva nyumbani sasa. So hii madawa tunaletewa kwa nyumba, aspirin. Aspirin ni ya nini kwanza? Aspirin ina prevent stroke, heart attack. So ama Dananol Bernard, what? Yani, no. Serikali, that is why I was saying, nafikiri hii masomo pia, Bernard, tumeenda mpaka tukamaliza form 4, tukaenda university, but we did wrong things. So please, kwa sababu uko kwa hii mtandao kusaidia wa Kenya, we need to tell people no, Bernard. Hakuna mtu anakuja kwangu. Sasa mnakuja kuona makuku. Yes, veterinary officer anakuja kama ng'ombe yangu ni mgonjwa, anakuja kutipu. Kama niko na umbwa, wanakuja. Kama niko na kuku, season ya kuku. Hey, now, binadamu. because even the veterinary officers in a I don't know. I'm really like, tunasikia uchungu. You know, these things are mixed up. Do we have a government really? Naona somebody anaitwa Pilimon anasema Mama Selina, watu wenyewe wako na mamlaka sahi. They fought no for constitution. My brother, constitution was fought by a lot of people na ilikuwa yes, walipitisha constitution. Na kama watu wako na mamlaka, pia hatuwezi kataa. You know, unajua hata saa ile tunapeleka ng'ombe deep penalty, tunawalazimisha na wanaenda wanaingia. So if Kenyans Shakahola, you guys you go, na nyinyi ni Wakristo na muliuza mashamba yenyu, mulipeleka watoto yenyu, mnasema Mungu amekuja. I think this is what Kenyans ama watu wa penalty, mumetuleta ile mambo ya Nigeria imemaliza Nigeria, sasa itatumaliza Kenya, because I think we are not naruti hapo pia. People are not real. We are not real. Kama na ni ukweli. Ukiona mtu anaenda kanisa anaambiwa weka sadaka, toa pesa yote uko naye, ukishatoa penalty unafikiria itasa, unamwambia peleka hapo mbele. Penalty. Pasta ya samani, pasta yetu wa samani walikuwa naenda na baskeli, walikuwa natuombea, tunapeleka kama tumetoa mahindi, tunapeleka mahindi 2 penalty, marako, hii yenyu ya sahi unapepa kila kitu. So really something is wrong in our country. Something as part of tunaongea mambo ya siasa, as part of tunaongea machama na serikali, but sisi wananchi we are the problem. We are really the problem, Bernard. Why can't we say no? Haya, sawa Bernard. Mi sina la kusema. I feel like, no, this is not the right way we are going. Turuti nyuma. Na ndio unaona sasa, ukiona 50 million people wanakatalia mtu moja, na wanasikia watakufa kama hiyo mtu moja ameenda, there is a big problem. Where are the warriors? Ya Kenya.
Okay, Mami, probably on the issue of the people who voted no to the Constitution. The Constitution was proclamated and it was adopted to be enacted in the country called Kenya. So whether you voted yes or no is immaterial. What is there is it must be implemented and it should be followed. So kama wewe unaona you voted no and the Constitution passed, and you don't want to implement it because you still don't believe in it, then you are the wrong person in the office. You should leave office so that the implementers of the Constitution do what? Implement. So we should not have the law of the land being left on the whims of those who voted for it or those who voted against it. After it has been adopted and enacted, let every Kenyan be judged against the same. The issue of William Ruto and his 300 walking around jobless people, to me, is duplicating responsibilities. And in the duplication, you are creating a crisis. It's just looking for an avenue to loot the coffers for the Ministry of Health, okay? You want an outlet for the money allocated to the Ministry of Health to be living and procedurally from the coffers to people's pockets. Because if, for example, I was in Marsabit, we were the previous relief program we took to Marsabit, okay? And the stories we were told, okay? Mama akitaka kujifungua, either anabeba kwa wheelbarrow, okay? Anasukuma kwa wheelbarrow, akipeleka hospitali, na hiyo hospitali iko mbali. Mtu akizidiwa usiku, nao kuna hyenas, kuna wanyama, then kuna insecurity, lakini there has to be the bodaboda guy ataamushwa huo usiku, abebe huyo mtu, atakimbiza hiyo pikipiki kwa nyika tu, there's no roads, no nothing, headed towards the direction of the hospital. Now, if if you really want to handle the healthcare situation in the country, it is not hiring people to roam house to house. It is build the hospital next to the people so that if somebody falls sick, he can go directly to the hospital. It's not for you to now hire some crusaders vile tunaendanga house to house evangelism. Sasa wewe umeconvert healthcare ikuwe house to house evangelism, na kwa sababu unataka kuvuja kuharibu pesa ya serikali. That's exactly what's happening. Unataka kuharibu pesa ya serikali na umetafuta your evangelistic team ambayo unataka ende kwa nyumba ukisema sawa, wametembea sana wakunywe soda, wametembea sana wakunywe chai, wametembea sana walipwe. This is a waste. Na kama hii ndio kuongoza nchi hii, we are doomed. We are doomed. Kenya kwanza need to sit down and know what they should do.
Penat, Mali iko sensitive, mambo ya insecurity, wakora, unafungua keti ya kulete dawa, wamekuja kuipa. What is, you know, let people make sense. Sahi Kenya, mambo iko insecurity, Penat. Utafungulia nani mlango hata kama anakuja na dawa? How 100% unajua hii, si hata mimi nitaenda kama mkora na chukua hiyo, you know, it is not making sense, Penat. Sorry.
It's true. That matter needs to be well hata nini. For example, wakati tulikuwa shule, okay? Na watu wamekuja wanasema wanapeana immunization, okay? Haikuwa ati walimu wanafungulia kila mtoto aende kusimama kwa line apewe. Ilikuwa lazima parade kengele ipigwe, wasimame, hawa watu wadhibitishe wametumwa, wametoka wapi, na they don't come alone. Wamekuja na chief, okay? Na wamekuja na mtu ambaye tunajua. So we know these are government officers who have been sent here to give immunization for this particular case. Sasa kama watu watakuwa wanatembea wawili kwenda nyumba kwa nyumba, na sasa tuko na insecurity, sasa tumehalalisha, okay, watu kuingia kwa nyumba, they will begin to rape our sisters and begin to mess our society. I think Kenya Kwanza administration is sick. It just needs to be, you know, phased out, to say the least. This is not how leadership is done. And look the way they are ignoring, okay? Sai KEMSA iko na shida. Madawa yale yanapeanwa, some of the medicine on our shelves are expired, okay? Some of them are bad. Instead of addressing those kind of things, they come up with the ridiculous proposals that they want to create jobs. Ruto hana plan ya create jobs. Ruto kulingana na mimi ni mchezo tu na sarakasi anazofanya. Kwa sababu kama unataka create jobs, you cannot be chasing away investors. You chase away Rai closes his 18 companies, alafu nasema you're creating jobs. What kind of jobs are you creating? So to me, hapa ni mchezo tu. And so this an endless conflicts and unfounded approach towards handling the situation is bad news altogether. And then because I support the doctors, let the doctors go on strike, let the nurses go on strike, let them help us recover this country by insisting on the right procedure of getting things done. Story ya kufuatana na Ruto, mimi kwangu Ruto amepotea, okay? Na kumfuata ni kupotea kabisa. Naomba usijiunge na kundi kama hilo. Kulikuwa na jamaa hapa anaitwa Kemboi. Na unajua support kile kitu ambacho kinafaa, sio tu support kitu kwa sababu watu wanakisupport. Na mabibi na mabwana, tunaendelea kukaribishana watu wa kuingia studio. Sijui mko wapi, njooni studio tukasemezane. Kama mwingi leo ni siku ya Bwana, tutafunga mapema lakini tunahitaji wewe uchangie kwa njia moja au nyingine. Ningependa pia kukukumbusha kwamba bado tunalipa bills zetu, okay? Details za kutuma mchango wako ni hizi. Naomba tafadhali umakinike kwa haya tunayoyazungumza. So use these details, those who are yet to send in their contribution. We are really going very slowly on this one. I don't know why, but I would want it out of the way as soonest. So use these details you use the till number 516575. That's for the locals. And the diasporians, you use the M-Pesa line, which is +2547184545885. Bernard is the name. So nimeshare hapo text message, wacha ni display kwa screen kwa wale ambao mnaona kwa screen, na ningependa tushughulikie hili swala moja kwa moja. I don't like it overstretching. It is not part of what we do. We just want you to participate in what we do. Our main thing here is to let Kenyans know what is true. Okay, those are the details. M-Pesa till number 516575, Sound Candy Talk, or M-Pesa line +2547184545885. So you can send as much as you are able to send. 1,000 shillings, 2,000 shillings, 10,000 shillings. Our budget is now about 100K per month. So we are looking at getting 100 people give us 1,000 each. Tumemaliza hiyo kazi hivyo tu. But do as much as you can. Make some sacrifices. Let's keep this thing running. And then, of course, ensure that Kenyans get right information. Propaganda iko mingi. Vijana wa Itumbi wametapakaa kila mahali, wanajaribu kuhadaa wa Kenya na kuwapumbaza. Lazima tuwe hapa kuhakikisha kwamba ukweli wa mambo unasemekana na unajulikana kwa wote. Kwa hivyo usilegee na usichoke. Kila mtu afanye sehemu yake, tutamaliza hii kazi mapema tena vizuri, kwa sababu tumejitolea na tunawajibika. So we'll take a short break. When we come back, Mama Selina will be weighing on that, but we want to go to Homa Bay and just see what transpired today as people gave their speeches on the matter at hand. And of course, the lion in the, or rather the elephant in the house, is those who are pushing succession politics. It is far from near, but the media is like has been hired to push this Raila succession agenda, which is not anywhere on the current state of affairs. But kuna wale ambao wako tu kujitolea katika kupumbaza wa Kenya na kujaribu kuwasukuma kwa kona fulani ambako huko mambo hayapo. Baba haendi kokote, baba yuko hapa. Mnaogopa kwamba hata run 2027 ama hata run 2027. Tulieni, mambo bado.
Sound Candy Talk sasa imeboreshwa zaidi. Kila siku ya wiki asubuhi tunapambazuka na maabudu na sifa kwenye kipindi cha baadaye tunakuletea mahojiano ya moja kwa moja kwenye one-on-one show.
Kwanza nianze kwa mtazamo kwamba umeona vile hali ilivyo,
the age that we are living in, so many things are happening.
Alafu nakuletea taarifa zinavyojipuka siku hiyo zikiwa ange kwenye in the news headlines. Kisha tunaingia bungeni kutazama wabunge na kusikiliza tuliowaleta kupeleka bungeni iwapo iko imara.
Mr. Speaker,
they should not be given an opportunity to be in those committees.
Who told the people to close the business?
Kisha baadaye usiku kuinaangana kwenye udadavusi kamili, Open Forum Political Show.
Open Forum Political Discussion Show.
Fanya akitujue tumepata the right person.
In churches, in funerals, come up and say, oh, it's our turn.
Sasa Sound Candy Talk imekamilika.
Azimio leader Raila Odinga has revealed that the National Dialogue Committee agreed on, among other things, to open the IEBC servers, institutionalize political sanity, and ensure all political players are on board during the constitution of the Electoral Commission IEBC. Raila Odinga, who was speaking in Suba South on Sunday, also called out members of parliament from the region who voted for the Finance Bill 2023. Leaders who accompanied Raila Odinga assured the party supporters of its steadiness in the event the party supremo will be successful in his Africa Union Commission chair bid. Alan Ochanda has more details.
Sunday, and the ODM party camped in Suba South, Homa Bay County for a delegates meeting and thereafter rallies in Nyakiamo and Sindo. The ODM party leader Raila Odinga revealing that an equilibrium on several sticky issues might have been arrived at by the National Dialogue Committee NADCO, which includes the mode of selection of IEBC commissioners, political sanity, among others.
The team has agreed, one, that the issue of IEBC will be constituted with our participation, that we must approve the names of those who are going to be members of IEBC. Two, we have agreed that the server is going to be opened. Okay? Hello? Number three, tumekubaliana ya kwamba wale ambao wanakuwa malaya wa siasa, wale ambao wanataka kutoroka kwa chama cha ODM, waende kwa vyama vingine, tutawarudisha kwa wananchi.
The party has witnessed dissent in the recent years in the region, and Odinga, keen to tighten his grip, is sustaining his onslaught on party rebels and the recent contentious Finance Bill 2023, he says, exposed the errand members.
Now, I was shocked and surprised to see some members of parliament from the region who voted for that bill now rising up and opposing the implementation of that bill. Shame on them. Shame on them. Shame on them. But what also surprised me was that the member of parliament for this constituency also voted for that bill. Karoli Omondi, did you send him to vote for that bill?
Wakati wabunge walikuwa kipiga kura kupandisha ushuru, mbunge wa Suba South alivote yes. Ni nyinyi mlimtuma kweli?
The party has been gripped with anxiety following its close to 20 years party leader's bid to go for the position of chair of African Union Commission. But Odinga is out to assure his base that all is well and there will be no vacuum. Already his deputy, former Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, has been propped up to take over from him owing to his allegiance and experience.
There is no leadership vacuum in ODM. Our leader remains Raila Amolo Odinga. And even if Raila Amolo Odinga was to go to Addis Ababa, we have a deputy party leader that we call Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya.
Hakuna mahali baba anaenda. Baba atabaki umuhumu. Kule akienda kule yeye kutembea tu. Yeye pata ako hapa. Baba ni mumo. Katika Kenya yote baba ni mumo.
We are 100% supporting our deputy party leader, Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya, to be the next party leader ikiwa baba anaenda kule African Union.
ODM elected leaders have also underscored that they will not vacate their official role of keeping the government in check, despite their bosses' new aspirations that need the state's backing. Alan Ochanda, KTN News.
Meanwhile, Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro
Karibu mami.
Hey, Bernard. Anyway, tumeona vizuri. I was saying, hii mambo ya succession ya baba, umesema itumbi wako job. So, wanajaribu division. Unajua ukianza succession, na uko na vijana 9 ya mama moja, alafu uko na vijana 7 kwa huu mama mwingine, everybody anataka kukua leader. So, wameona baba ametengeneza ODM, wanaona ODM imeshika moto. So propaganda ni kwamba succession waseme Oparanya ndio watu wengine wakasirike, waseme nani, but the truth of the matter is chama lazima itengenezwe. Na baba akiwa atesa baba, kwani iko shida pena tukiwa patron? You may not be party leader, maybe atujui, but lazima kuna vile, na sahi ametuongoza kwa hiyo miaka yote pena without even being a president or deputy, amekuwa prime minister once. But wafuasi yake wamekuwa loyal to him. Ametuambia yeye hayuko parliament. Yeye ni raia kama anybody else. So kama anaweza kutuweka laini na hayuko na kiti, it is the same hata akienda mahali anaenda and is still alive, watu watamfuata tu. You know, kuna kitu huwezi chukua kwa mtu. Hiyo baraka ni yake, Mungu alimpatia. So anaweza nyamaza. Bernard, umeona mahali hata mzee amefika miaka 100 na kuna vijana kwa boma, but kama batu wanasikia, unakuta watu wanasema tunataka maoni yake, we want to hear from him, na yeye hawezi toka nje kwenda kuambia watu. Hata wakati tunaambiwa Katoliki mabishop wamejifungia kwa room ati mpaka tuone moshi, ni ukweli tunaona moshi ama ni mtu anakuja anatuambia imesemekana hivi? So these are the same. Baba atakuwa ananyamaza, lakini utasikia watu wanakuja wanasema baba amesema we go left, and we go left because we believe him. The other one will go right. So hii mambo ya succession ni kukonganisha watu Bernard, but imeshindwa. You know, you can always unajua wamejaribu sana mpaka wa Kenya wamekuwa werefu, especially chama ya ODM. Hata unaona wale walikuwa wameenda kando wanarudi wakilia. Kuna machama saa hii nasikia ODM iko na 20 years. It's the oldest party in Kenya. Hii ingine wanafunja, hata Raila atafunja coalition, lakini hakuna mtu anakusa ODM. Enda nyumba yako Bernard, I go to my house, kujeni tukutane hapo nje. So hiyo chama imeundwa sana na it is a national party. So ni ngumu. Hii machama ingine inajaribu, kwanza wanakosana kwa sababu hawana manifesto yake, hawana members huko grassroots, na baba ametushinda na hiyo. Hiyo ni baraka Mungu alipatia. Hii wakati ya Jubilee, ODM peke yake Bernard, I think you remember, ndio walifanya election, walianza grassroots wakafika national. Watu wengine walijaribu ikasimia hata kabla itashika constituency, waliwachana naye. So kuna watu walienda election na interim leaders, and even now tulikuwa tunaambiwa Yuda masijui wapi walijaribu kukimbia kidogo. We thought sasa ingeshika moto. Haya, ni chama gani ingine Bernard now they are going really round? Kama vile tunaona baba ana pesa ya serikali, but imagine hiyo mkutana anakuwa naye. So who are we even competing with? I think Kenyans tukue na ukweli. Thank you Bernard.
Okay, asante sana mami. Thank you for that observation. Hii inaendelea ni watu kukimbizana ovyo kwa sababu wanaogopa. Leo hii nimesikiza anaitwa nani huyo? Speaker wa deputy speaker. Shole. Anasema baba akienda Addis Ababa, rais wao atakuwa na uwezo, nafasi mzuri ya kuendeleza nchi na kufanya maendeleo kwa sababu hatakuwa na kizuizi. Kwani baba amezuia maendeleo wapi? Si wanatembea kila mahali wakifanya maendeleo, wanasema umeleta maendeleo. So how has baba being in the country hindered development? So these guys are just misguided and they are following blindly what they know is not working. And they are baptized their tongue into lying to the public. Wanafikiria kila Mkenya ni mjinga. Hapa ni uzembe tu unaendelea na confusion. Okay? Angalia education vile inaenda, confusion. Healthcare ndio hiyo confusion. Angalia sasa internal security. Confusion. Kindiki anakimbia huku, anarudi anakimbia huku. Sasa angalia agriculture. Stories sijui fertilizer, sijui mbegu, nini. Next thing utasikia hakuna. Nimesikia avocado, sasa watu wameanza kusupply avocado ambazo hazijakoma, wanapeleka huko ng'ambo. Si ni soko wanafunga wakifanya hivyo. So the agriculture sector is not working, healthcare is not working, education is not working. Yet people are, fighting to stay in office. Kama kazi imekushinda, unajiuzulu, unasema nimejaribu lakini nimeshindwa, wacha niende kujifunza tena. You don't have to die in office, and you don't have to keep pretending to be working when things are actually falling apart. And then ile party ya watu kuhama vyama, warudi kwa debe. Hiyo msimamo baba usiachilie, okay? Na kuna wale ambao walikuwa wanasema kwamba baba amefanya soft handshake, kwa hivyo ameachana na maneno ya Sava, ameachana na maneno ya IEBC na hiyo mambo yote. Sasa nataka wakuje waseme baba ameongea leo. Hiyo report ndio hiyo imetolewa. Report inasema Sava mpaka ifunguliwe. Inasema IEBC haiwezi kutengenezwa na Ruto peke yake, mpaka wengine wote wahusike ili kukuwe na komiti ama uongozi wa IEBC ambao unaeleweka. Hiyo report inasema nini? Mtu kuhama kutoka kwa chama asipitie State House. Ukihama kuingia kwa chama unapitia kwa wananchi. Wananchi wakikupigia kura basi enda State House. Lakini kama upigii kura utarudi kukaa na wananchi kama kawaida. And so things are developing so fast, and I think we are headed in the right direction if we follow the due process. Fronting of Oparanya. Oparanya has worked with Baba all along. I think he has the capacity to run ODM effectively, of course, with Baba's support and every other aspect of it. So I don't think ODM has a problem in terms of leadership. They have a strong structure. They have a very good hierarchy as wherever arrangement. Si kama UDA, mara Kashagwa ndio kiongozi wa Mount Kenya, mara Ndindi Njoro anasema yeye ndio kiongozi wa Mount Kenya, and then all that confusion. ODM is intact, strong, and then it has strong structures. So it will still be here longer than the people expect it to fizzle out. And the political analysts who are running around and saying it is over for ODM, Raila is ODM and ODM is Raila, they in for a rude shock, because I don't think ODM will fizzle out to be reduced like what became of Ford Kenya, okay? And what became of what they are calling ANC, okay? Vyama ambavyo ni mtu mmoja, au huyo mtu akienda kwa serikali vimekufa. So that's not it. Ni ODM ni yetu kama wa Kenya, na tutaendelea kuijenga na itaendelea kuwatesa. Wacha kuogopa hiyo, mnaiogopa mapema hivi. Mtaendelea kuteswa tu nayo mpaka mfanye kile ambacho mnapaswa kukifanya. Mwache kuogopa. Na kama wewe unaona wewe ni mwanasiasa umetosha, fungua chama yako, jenga, compete na ODM. Let political party compete among themselves, not personalities. Okay? So unaona hata wanahabari nao badala wazungumze kuhusu vyama, wanazungumza kuhusu mtu. Okay? They want to turn the politics into personality politics. It is not Raila Odinga. We are looking at ODM. We are looking at NAK Kenya. We are looking at PNU. We are looking at, of course, Wiper. Okay? Kila mtu ajenge chama. Kuna DAP, ile mwongozo na Eugene. Kila mtu ajenge hicho chama. Alafu dakika ya mwisho tujitoze kwa uwanja. Isikuwe ati unisupport, uniendorse, mbona huku ni support, huku ni endorse. William Ruto is not a problem. Okay? Mimi naona hata tusikwe na two horse. Hii race ifunguliwe kila mtu. Okay? Kila mtu. Na tutamenyana we'll win this thing. Kila mtu aingie. Kama coalition haifanyi vizuri, ODM iende kivyake, Wiper iende kivyake, UDA iende kivyake, will still come out to the winner. Mimi sitaona wa Kenya ambao wataendelea kusupport William Ruto kwa sababu William Ruto ni wao. Funda ameanguka. So well, ladies and gentlemen, watu wa kuingia studio sijui wameenda wapi, but let me play this clip, then Mami you can come in on the same. Let's just finish the Oparanya issue.
To politics now, and Azimio leader Raila Odinga's bid for the Africa Union Commission chairmanship has attracted succession politics within his ODM party, with regional alliances emerging and seeking to take control of the party.
Well, deputy party leaders Wycliffe Oparanya and Ali Hassan Joho have each come out seeking to take over from Odinga. The ODM leader, who held a series of rallies in Homa Bay County, moved to solidify his Nyanza base and called on his supporters to reject elected ODM MPs who jumped ship to support Kenya Kwanza. Stephen Leto reports.
Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga hosted Raila Odinga and the ODM caravan for a series of rallies across Suba North and Suba South constituencies in Homa Bay County. Odinga's visit to Homa Bay today comes amid a vicious ODM takeover campaign after Odinga declared his interest in the AU chairperson position that will require him to take a back seat in local politics. Odinga's deputies Wycliffe Oparanya and Ali Hassan Joho have begun lobbying for regional support to take over from Odinga after he declared his bid for African Union Commission chairperson.
Akipata kwa sababu ni kura ambayo inapikwa na presidents wa inji 55, 54 wa Afrika. Akienda itakuwa February mwaka uchao. Tuna mwaka mzima kujipanga. Na mimi vile mmesema hapa, mimi niko tayari kuchukua hii chama cha ODM niwe kiongozi wa ODM.
Sindo more. Sindo win.
Odinga in particular making every effort to regain the lost bases back to his Orange Party. Odinga endorsed nominated MP John Mbadi to take back the seat currently held by Suba South MP Karoli Omondi, who is among ODM MPs who jumped ship and supported Kenya Kwanza.
Wale ambao wanataka kutorora kwa chama cha ODM, wanaenda kwa vyama vingine, itawarudisha kwa wananchi. Uja Mbadi thurwa.
Odinga says the lawmakers who ditched the party costed the opposition critical votes in the finance bill of 2023.
Recently, they brought a finance bill in parliament, which was introducing new taxes in parliament. And we gave instruction to our members of parliament of ODM to oppose that bill, the finance bill, because that bill was an oppressive bill.
Odinga further said the opposition will continue championing for the lowering of cost of living in the country.
Now, you remember when they were doing campaign, they were talking about returning GMR, guaranteed minimum return. That language has actually now disappeared. Now, I was shocked and surprised to see some members of parliament from the region who voted for that bill now rising up and opposing the implementation of that bill. Shame on them.
Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.
Karibu mami.
Bernard. Hiyo ni kama siku ile tulikuwa tunaanza uchaguzi campaign. Baba cannot, akisema kweli who can poke on me, it is through nobody. Even in the spirit. Raila will be there forever. So, kulingana na mambo tumeona leo Penat, hiyo ya Obara. Kwanza nimesikia Obaranya amesema nini? Nimesikia mbaya ama nimesikia sichukui chama ama nimesikia ninachukua chama.
No, amesema baba akienda Addis Ababa, okay? Yeye ana uwezo wa kuongoza chama ya ODM. So sio eti baba ameenda Addis Ababa ODM itakufa.
Oh, that's true. Yes, kwa sababu nilisema hata Ali Hassan Joho, unajua kuna mambo mingi atuelewi. Kuna watu wameenda underground tunafikiri walitoka na kumbe kuna kasi kubwa wanafanya ya chama na baba. You know, getting money. Unajua hii finances Bernard ni kitu ngumu. So kwa nyumba kuna wale watu unasikia hata uwajui, lakini kumbe hawa ndio wanapepa kila kitu. So tunajua Kosti, kuna Joe, tunajua sasa kuna Arati, tunajua kuna Oparanya. Na tuko na wamama ninaona wanaweza run even kukua hiyo vice chair pena, they are doing well. Kuna wamama kama hii mama anaitwa Gladys Wanga, she's coming very strong. Kuna mama moja nilikuwa nafikiria ya Kisumu anaweza, huyu Apuyu, Rosa Puyu. Nilikuwa nafikiria pia wakati Nyang' Nyong'o anaweza retire, there are some strong women. So na tunataka not women, we need leaders. Penat, I advocate for leaders, not just si mama. Kama Pensuda, nimeona kuna cheshi ya baba hata mwili, kumbe hata hii mwili yetu kubwa Penat ni mzuri sasa zingine. Ukitokea watu wananyamaza, hiyo mtu anashangaa akinikuta nitabaki. Ya mwisho nilikuwa nimesema Penat, umeongea kuhusu shole. Kuna mtu amezoea kupika pipi sana Penat. Akikoa kabla ataingia kwa nyumba, mama na watoto wamesimama ama watoto wameingia chini ya kitanda wamelala. So hii mambo tunaona saa zingine unaokopa, na kumbe hata mwenye unaokopa Penat hata hayuko. So mimi nafikiria watu hii uoga hii wanahusiwa watu, baba hakuna, tutachukua, tutafanya, ni kutisha watu Penat. Kuna mtu Penat office anaweza kukupigia simu, si ati kwa sababu unataka. Mtu mkubwa anakupigia simu, na kumbe wewe uko kwako Penat. Lakini ukireceive hiyo simu kusikia hiyo China, unachikuta umesimama. Na hakuna mtu amekuamusha kwa kiti, ni hiyo simu tu imekuja, unafikiria anakuona. Na si ati hata ameweka kwa video. But ile haraka kureceive hiyo simu, kitu ya kwanza unasema unasimama. Na kuoni. So hii mambo ya baba akitamuka tu hivi, dunia imesimama Penat. Mtu hata anaweza ambia mama, hebu angalia kama baba ananiona. So we are really saying that Kenyans tufanye tu siasa mzuri. Tengenezeni vyama. Baba nimeshukuru amepatia kila mtu ruhusa. Wachakoe leo amesema kwa root party yake hawezi simamisha mtu Nyanza. Lakini hata yeye ni crying baby Penat. Hii story yote unaenda ambia baba. Yani hii watu mimi nashangaa na hii watu. Yes, ukwenda mkutano ya Wanga na wewe ulisikia baba the first day ndio white it ndio kwa the second day. Unajua hii watu ya kuangea koti ya Raila Penat inatuumiza wengine. Hata hii mtu sasa anasema ati si kuitwa, ati baba mimi ni wewe ni principal, yes. Wewe uko na root party, yes. Lakini tengeneza chama yako. Hapana sema ninafuata baba. Si utafuata baba na kwako imefunga Penat. Sasa ile unafuata mtu mwingine akienda kuweka bibi mimba, na wewe sasa ulali kwa nyumba, siku gani bibi yako atakuwa na mimba? Si 5 years itaisha kama wewe una mtoto Penat. What is going on? Sasa ile wewe unaenda simamia mwanaume mwingine kwa nyumba yake, ameingia amejifungia na bibi yake. Na wewe pia uko na bibi. Huyu mtu si atasaa mtoto ya kwanza, asaa ya bili ya tatu, 5 years, you have no wife, you have no child. Sababu bibi yako amekungoja ametoroka. So wakati baba saa zingine anaenda kutengeneza nyumba yake, kunyorosha watoto yake, pia hiyo yako kidogo tengeneza. So I wonder, kama wewe unangojea huyu baba akuje parliament, na mimi nataka Penat, tangu ODM iliundwa hawajaifika 20 members of parliament ama 30 members of parliament Penat. Inakuanga huko 60-70. Hii chama ingine inakujanga, alafu ikifika anasema nilikuwa na wewe. Unakuta sasa it is not really, wewe umeleta wachumbe 4 ama 5. Hii mtu ya ODM amepanga nyumba yake amelete 70 ama 100. But unamwambia we are equal principle. Wewe Penat umekataa kuchenga nyumba yako, saa ile wengine wanachenga. Alafu sasa ikifika hapo unaketi tu kwa hiyo mesa. And you want to be the principal. hata huyu papa ni mzuri Bernard. He's a great man. He's a great man. How can you be a principal kama Raila na we una hata say? So mimi nataka kusema hivi, saa ile baba anapanga nyumba yake, Wachakoa, Matakarua, kina Mwangi Waria, nani, tengenezeni poma yenu. Raila akikuja na 70 na we ukuje na 50. We mwingine ukuje na 30. Tuongeze hiyo nyumba yetu. Lakini usikuje ukue kama Watangula alisema, ilisemwa nini ile parliament wakati alinyang'anywa kiti. Na wenye kumpigia kura
this divorce is going to be messy.
And you don't have people Bernard. Inakuwa messy because unatarajia Raila kumwambia watu yake patia Bernard. We need to be serious sometime. Hata mimi I'm saying this Bernard. Ndiye siasa ya Kenya iende vizuri. Hii mambo ya umbrella, wacha tukuje tufanye umbrella kama tumepita. Kama mimi I work hard in ODM, nikuja na wachumbe yangu, nikuwe na 70. Ruto akuja na yake 70. Kalonzo akuja na yake. Sasa, hapo tutakaa chini, tutengeneze the real coalition. Hapana kuja hapa ionekane huko na watu wengi, na hata siku ya parliament they don't have people. So why can't we get our country together, kucheni na chama yenyu, and then we make a coalition after election? Of course after election tunajua UDA iko na kura hii, ODM iko na hii, Kalonzo ako na hii. Haya, rafiki yangu ingine amepata 2, 3, basi tuna negotiate. Usikuje kukua principal hapa hata Raila ana nafasi ya kuongea. Wafuasi ya Raila wale wamempigia huyu mtu na wako na kura. Can you imagine Pena? Una deny them the right to be where they are supposed to be. Hasa wewe principal unakuja hapo. And then hakuna kura unalete, na kama ile unalete ni ile unaambia baba like usisimamishe mtu yako. Sasa wewe hujasimamisha mtu ya ODM na wewe Pena tunasimamisha yako, na sisi watu ya ODM kwa sababu umelazimisha baba tunakupitisia mtu yako. Sasa ule huyo mtu ameenda parliament Pena anaenda kunikeuka because hakukuwa mtu ya baba. So we need to leave this thing. For real, wacha tukue real. Kuja na wachama yako, nikuje na yangu, tukutane mbele. Asante Pena. And I think I'm naenda kulete wachuku kasini. So really I'm just leaving, but I will be listening. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Nashukuru wa Kenya wametusikiza. And I hope today we are talking about development na mambo mazuri yanaendelea kwetu Kenya. Tukuje na hiyo respond. Wacha sisi wote, we are brothers and sisters. Tukue kitu moja. Na kama kuna kitu inatufinya, tuwachie, tuweke kwa mbafu. And then we come out, we save our country, we save our communities. Na Mungu awabariki. And I say, Baba, court time is the right time for you. Asante Penat.
Thank you, Mami. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time with us. Thank you for the wisdom and givings. I believe we're going to do better. Ladies and gentlemen, tunasonga mbele. Kuna swala moja tu ambalo nitashughulikia, kisha pia tutakuwa we calling it a day. The others, Tony PK and team will come later kuanzisha their own feed na Kenyan would love. But for now, the remaining matter to look at is Kenya, Uganda, to face, they have been, accused in the court of law in the UK about the way they handled the Kenya Rift Valley Railway deal, something that Kenya risks to lose another 300 and something billion if that case is won. So ni maswala kama haya, kuingia mkataba tena mnaruka wa mkataba na mnajua kuna implications. It appears that things don't, things change, things remain the same, and nchi vile inaongozwa Mungu tu ndio atatusaidia. Okay, let's listen to this row that is rising about the Rift Valley Railway. Rift Valley Railway was contracted to run the Kenya-Uganda Railway for a period of time. So, and later on, we saw after the Rift Valley Railway left, we had the service reverting back to Kenya-Uganda Railway. So, ni nini hiki? Ningependa kuangazia tukianza kutamatisha.
All right, listen to this next story. The governments of both Kenya and Uganda face a legal battle in the United Kingdom over the controversial Rift Valley Railways line that was to run between both countries.
Well, the claimants, KU Railway Holdings Limited and RVR Investments Limited, had entered into several agreements with both countries back in 2006 to construct and manage the project. The hearing that begins tomorrow at the International Arbitration Centre in London will determine whether both Kenya and Uganda will pay the claimants nearly 289 billion Kenya shillings in compensation fees. What started as a mutual agreement between governments and private sector players to construct and manage the Rift Valley Railways line in 2006 turned into an arbitration case to be heard at the International Arbitration Centre in London starting Monday, March 4th, 2024. The promising project would have seen a Rift Valley Railways line run between Kenya and Uganda for freight and passenger transportation. However, after a series of delays to secure funding for the project by one of the implementing partners, RVR Investments Limited, the Kenya Railways Corporation was forced to pull the plug in 2017. The termination of the contract prompted KU Railway Holdings Limited and RVR Investments Limited to begin arbitral proceedings against the governments of Kenya and Uganda. The claimants essentially want both governments held responsible for breaching several agreements and to be compensated $2.01 billion or nearly 300 billion shillings. In its defense and counterclaims, the government of Kenya said in part the tribunal tasked with hearing the arbitral proceedings does not have jurisdiction over the matter. The government also accused the claimants of acting corruptly and engaging in unlawful practices in the performance of the concession and amended interface agreements, which governed how the project was to be run. The Attorney General, Justin Muturi, is leading a legal team comprising the former AG, Professor Githu Muigai, Professor Albert Muma, state counsels, and external counsels, led by the King's Counsel, Michael Sullivan. The hearing begins Monday at the International Arbitration Centre in London and carry on through the 9th of March 2024. The proceedings will reconvene once more from the 11th to the 15th of March 2024.
Aya, mambo ni kama hayo. Mkataba huo umeleta utata. So Kenya iko na kesi, sio tu East Africa, pia ng'ambo kwa masuala ya Rift Valley Railway. Inaonekana mkataba ulikiukwa na kwa hivyo wanataka compensation, which is to the tune of almost 300 billion if that sails through. So we are far from getting it right as a country in terms of honoring our commitments to other parties, especially the private-public sector agreements. There are things that would work better if we did what we are required to do rightly and then, of course, accurately. As we begin to call it a day, I'm calling upon us. Let's weigh on this. Once again, thank you for being part and parcel of this conversation. Encourage us, especially those of you who are yet to send in your contribution. Please do so. We need your support to keep the channel running. These lights you see giving us here are energy consuming. Our token is not like the usual one. Inakunywa kama maji. Kwa hivyo ni lazima tulipe vizuri ndio tuendelee kuwaletea matangazo haya, and then of course there are other facilitation fees that we have to keep at to secure this broadcast kila siku. And then of course tunaamini kwamba tukiendelea kuzungumza hivi tuna faida ambayo inakuja kwako kwa kufahamisha mambo mengi tu na wewe kujifunza, na katika hiyo hali kumakinika katika kuelewa nini kinachoendelea na vipi tunapaswa kukishughulikia. Kama tumeshawaambia, tutaendelea kuwakumbusha tena mambo bado, wewe usiogope na usifuatane na Gata Press, okay? Gata Press na siku hizi ni, it's sad to note that even what we looked up to as serious media houses are all falling into the trap of Gata Press and reporting sensational things without following what is factual and what is, of course, reliable in being followed for the well-being of the country. I can see Reverend Lala here. Reverend, how are you today?
Oh, Bernard, I'm well. How are you?
Great, great. Here we are. You need that video played now?
I don't know whether you already played it. Yeah, please play it.
Okay, here we go. I think it's ready.
The National Penitentiary is where Haiti's highest profile criminals were locked up. For 3 days, gang members threatened to storm the jail. After fierce gunfights which turned the streets of Port-au-Prince into a battleground, they succeeded in releasing fellow gang members. Civilians were caught in the middle of the street battles.
Armed gangs are onto us. We can't take it anymore. We have nowhere to go.
With no police to be seen in several parts of the city, shops and properties have been looted. Police say they are not equipped to deal with the gang violence.
It is outrageous that all of the country's authorities are driving around in armoured cars, while the people have no armoured vehicles, and the police don't even have bulletproof vests. I paid for this bulletproof vest and this helmet that I'm wearing right now out of my own pockets.
The gang members, who control large parts of the country, are demanding the resignation of acting Prime Minister Ariel Henry. He flew to Kenya last week to try and finalize a deal to send Kenyan security personnel to Haiti as part of a UN-backed task force to restore order. But with no sign of foreign forces arriving soon, Haitians in Port-au-Prince are left with no option but to flee the violence in any way they can. Hamza Mohammed, Al Jazeera.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.
Yes, Bernard, that is the situation there in Haiti, and it's desperate. But the force going in, just as those people from Haiti told us yesterday, that if the force is needed, it has to be a very large force that require places like the US and others. But above all, they stated clearly that they need a Marshall Plan, a lot of money, factories, and something to give the people hope. So there's no point taking policemen there and arms there, more arms there, yet there's nothing that they're going to give to Asians to help them get their lives together. And this is something that has been it's done all the time. The US, whenever there is a disaster, the first thing is the package has to be put together to revitalize the economy of the place. And so for us to simply want to take the policemen there or the military and others and don't give them enough funding to restart, build their life back together, it's a mistake. Kenya is trapped in a very, very bad environment now, because it looked like it doesn't matter what we think or what we say. Ruto has decided to send, our precious people there without our authorization as Kenyans, because we didn't like it, we don't want it, but it's decided to do it. So, but Kenyans should know that they still can stop the whole thing if they act now, urgently and quickly. And all we need to do is let Kenyans know that, yes, we want to support Haiti, but this is not the right way to do it. The right way is to mobilize, if possible, AU or other larger body like NATO and others, but it has to accompany funding, a Marshall Plan large enough to be able to bring back the Asian economy and the people to have a sense of hope. Kenya also must remember that the US has had a hard time, especially in some of the countries they have been to. One in particular is Iraq. You see, Iraq, the mistake that was made is that in Iraq, when they went in for the first time, they disbanded the military. It was disbanded, and that was the beginning of the trouble. These are people who are trained. When you disband them, where do they go? And this is exactly what happened in Haiti. The army in the past have been disbanded, and when you disband an army, you have people trained. Whenever you may call them gangs, but these are paramilitary. These people who are well trained, and they can cause all kinds of trouble. And Kenya also must remember that the current prime minister was supported by one of the gangs, the G9. A barbecue was an ally, and but they disagreed on some ways. So he doesn't have the benefit of that gang. The G9, we are talking of 9 gangs that came together. And Barbecue himself was a police chief. So it's not some guy, some gang from the street somewhere. This is a well-trained man with these ex-military people who are in the army. So we are talking of an army that will face the Kenyan police. So if you think Kenya can understand a chance, you're simply crazy. So, and the US know that. They don't want to go there because they know exactly what's on the street. So it is important for us to come out and speak before we start seeing bodies of our Kenyan police coming back, bodies coming back because we did not speak. So it is upon all Kenyans. If you don't come out and speak, their blood will be on you. So we must tell Ruto that there's another way of doing it. Ruto should have, in the beginning, should have gone to AU. Why would he just step out and send Kenyan forces there when he should have had that information, of what's really on the street? And why would he call himself a Pan-Africanist, yet unwilling to work with other African states so that they can be able to come with a better solution for Asians? The professor I talked to, the Asian man, the from Haiti guy, stated clearly that he likes the idea that African nation is trying to help, and he was very happy for Kenya. But when the people already now perceive that Kenya is simply hired group of people to do the bidding of other countries, then that benefit of a doubt, that relationship issue between Kenya and Haiti will not work. Whether they are black and we are black, and longer we are perceived to be mercenaries, because there's no difference when you take a group of people to fight for you, and they may look like you, because the people are fighting now is Haiti against Haitians. Okay, so it will not be any advantage to have Kenyans there because they're black. But the only thing they can do if it's come as African Union, and they know very well that other forces are not there to help them, I believe that's when they will they can succeed. But under these circumstances, it's very hard to imagine them succeeding in Haiti. So that's my point I wanted to make for all of us to stand strong and oppose this thing. And it's not just speaking, we should be out on the street. If possible, with firimbis, with anything that will make noise so that people can know exactly how we feel as Kenyans, sending our own sons and daughters to Haiti to be slaughtered. So let me stop there and turn back to you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Lala, for that analysis and, of course, insights into the situation in Haiti and why the Kenyan government and their pursuit of trying to send the soldiers there should be relooked at extensively. And that's one area in the operations of one William Ruto that is really indeed wanting. William Ruto he avoids scrutiny, he avoids close range scanning of whatever undertaking that he wants to undertake. Like Baba once noted, they say debates in the parliament are not supposed to be hurried up. And so this is a matter that needs to be taken to the parliament. Let the parliament debate extensively. Let's see the merits and the demerits of whatever that may befall our people before that is ratified. But the issue of taking a matter in parliament for formality and for the sake of, like what he said today, he wants to build houses because Jesus said that I did not have a house and you did not take me in. It's all fallacy. We can't operate with the avoidance or excuses. We must operate on concrete information.
Ruto said that today.
Sure. Sorry?
Did he say that?
He said that. Let me play you the clip. Did he say that?
Wow.
He said that today he was at where is this? The Salvation Army Church was celebrating their 100th year here in Nairobi at the Ulinzi ground. Ulinzi ground is along Langata Road. It's the barracks. So that's where he said that he is for the housing levy because of Matthew 25, where Jesus said he needed shelter and nobody gave it to him. So he doesn't want to be asked why he did not provide shelter. But the question is posed. Right now, it is a few minutes to 2 a.m. in Nairobi, Kenya. If we went to the city center right now with our cameras, you will see families that are living on the street, sleeping on the street. Those are the people he needs to be collecting at night and giving them housing. Not for him to go and demolish Kakamega, wherever members of parliament houses, and then, of course, already settled people in housing in the name of he wants to build affordable housing. So the games that William Ruto is playing, those mind games, just needs to be arrested. And of course, Kenyans to remain vigilant. Kuna mkora hapa anataka kuwakorofisha na anataka kuwaibia. Na so ako determined kuwaibia mpaka anataka kutumia Biblia kukuhadaa ili umfuate katika uovu wake. How bad can one get to? Well, as we begin to call it a day, we want to encourage us, please, let's be on the forefront to like the video, participate in the poll question, and then we are really banking on your support to keep the channel running and to keep the channel meet its obligations every end month. And like we said, because of the drop into the, what is it called? The value of the shilling, our costs have skyrocketed. And so we need everybody's support. Usikae mbali, tujitahidi sana. Mahali tumefika, mchango wetu hujafika hata 30%. That's why we're encouraging you, please, usituache kwa mataa. Last time tuliwachia Mr. Handsome akasema akona warembo ambao watasaidia mambo, alafu tukaachwa kwa mataa. This month sitaki kuachwa kwa mataa, nataka kila mmoja atume mchango wake na tumakinike. Hii channel yetu na lazima tuitunze, tuhakikishe kwamba hatuingii kwa madeni. Kenya iko kwa madeni, sisi hatutaki kuingia kwa madeni nyingine. So help us to keep our bills paid without much ado. And then of course we encourage us, let's not despair. Mambo bado. Don't follow the propagandists. The Itumbi boys are out there, beware of that. And they are pushing one agenda. There is a secret soft handshake between Raila Odinga and William Ruto. That's the propaganda. And they are saying that to mean that Raila Odinga has betrayed the cause of the people. That is all propaganda. Haina ukweli wowote, na ukifuata vizuri ni wewe utaumia bure. Angalia mambo kwa kina, angalia mambo kwa undani. Kama kweli kungekuwa na soft handshake, baba angekuwa anazungumza maneno ya kufungua sava, angekuwa anazungumza maneno ya cost of living, angekuwa anazungumza maneno ya IEBC, angekuwa anazungumza maneno ya wabunge ambao wamevuka vyama kwenda kwa Ruto, warudi kwa wananchi. That will have changed, and then of course there will be official communication to that effect. When Raila had a handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta, the next person to be called was Junet and Mbadi. They were given instructions. This is how you're going to be voting in parliament to support Uhuru Kenyatta, because a faction of Uhuru had walked away with Ruto. And so the handshake kicked into force right away, and things began to happen a certain way to wherever show that this is the new way of doing the politics for the second term of one Uhuru Kenyatta. Hii ingine ya Ruto anataka kuiba mpaka anahaya watu kwa drone kupiga picha wakati watu wameenda kuchunga ng'ombe, alafu atumie hizo picha kupush a narrative, kupumbaza wa Kenya. Let's not fall for it. Itumbi and his boys, they should get a better job to do. Why should you sell the country for 20,000 Kenya shillings per month? That's too bad. And on that note, I will also, yesterday we played Chris Kumekucha's analysis. I think I will also close with the latest of the same, and to encourage you, if you're not a follower of Chris Kumekucha, ningekuhimiza ukafuate sana, sababu wengi wetu hapa tunaenda huko tunachichanganya with some amateur political analysts who get excited and give sensational things and say they have seen, they have perceived, they have seen. You can't do political analysis when you don't look for it through the eye of history, through the character of the people involved, through the desperation, what is at stake, who gains, okay? All that comes into play. So don't jump on the cliff simply because some sensational amateur analyst amekwambia hii imeenda. Haijaenda mpaka iende. Asante lakini kwa wote. Well, so before I bring in Reverend Lala to give his final remarks as we begin to wind up, just this short clip.
How important is it for all the Arab nations to get together in your view? What is the importance of that? How important is it for you?
Importance for Arabs? You mean for Arabs?
Yes.
Of course, when they will be united in one country, Not like now while they are divided. They are very weak now economically and in the field of defense, in every field, in fact, because they are divided now. But when they unite their sources, their forces, they will be strong. They will be strong, particularly in the economic field, and they can defend themselves.
Toka ya oromosni eto betio limo usuba kama ng'eny iluongo ni Sir Charles Ogondo mjume makasi pool Kamumbo. Erokamano. Koro ami 1 minute, just a minute, ikoninda tiduoko wami opug nyasungu. Haya
vijana ria, vijana tibim, wamama tialela, ne baba wa Mwahero Jacob, His Excellency Raila Odinga, our party leader, the vice party leader, all protocols observed. Adwaka uthuoloni monda wachni ya chamo chie kendo pinyo chieo. Vijana untie, josindo untie, adwakono baba nigi moneno kawuono nyiso ni foot soldiers mage otegno kendo gini mara Homa Bay County baba nikech evolution manikelonwa. We are ready, we are rocking, we are rolling. Awacho koso kawacho akoro wacha chiel kata bet piny uneno nyang jadimo ene man kode parliament kacha okoneno pug nyasungu makami makono kata chomo wetangula kakoni Mr. Speaker sa onge bir makalo kako kwa yie. Awacho koso kawacho oromu nyigruoth Yesu.
Haya erokamano opug nyaindi koso opug nyasungu. Adwa kelo nu seneta marwa Moses Kajwang' nyakwamba.
Aya, vijana hoi, vijana ria, tumewaletea ripoti leo. Kule bungeni, wakati wabunge walikuwa kipiga kura kupandisha ushuru, mbunge wa Suba South alivote yes. Ni nyinyi mlimtuma kweli? Koso Kiswahili ni okuingi. Kane igo kura mimedo godo suru, Suba South no wacho ni mondo medo suru. Une manuore kane ikelo tax mar udi, mbunge ma Suba South no wacho ni mondo ket tax mar udi. Une manuore. We awachnu wach moro ka mogik, kendo we awache gi dhok Kisungu. There should never be any doubt about the future of ODM. We are all members of ODM. There is no leadership vacuum in ODM. Our leader remains Raila Odinga. And even if Raila Odinga was to go to Addis Ababa, we have a deputy party leader that we call Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya. Na hata kama Oparanya hayuko, we have a chairman called John Mbadi Ngongo. And I want to finish by saying this, that even though Raila Odinga is going to Addis Ababa, we have not changed our position on national issues. Zakayo still remains Zakayo. The cost of living is still too high. The economy is still doing badly. Omiyo pod wabonyonore kacha, kendo pod wanetie baba, mondo waneni Kenya olokore. Dakane jo ODM man kafwane yamo kama. Eroru kamano.
Haya. Koro adwa kelo nu jatelo mar Roots Party George Wajakoya.
nataka kusema namna hii. Mimi niko na mambo machache kabisa. Wajo ni and can code baba and ngato motegno. And nobody should take me for granted. Watu wa Bangi mpo. Baba ona. Baba ona watu yako. Ya pili, ningetaka kuchukua fursa hii kumshauri Mwenyezi Mungu kwa kumfanya mbunge wenu ambaye ni Mheshimiwa Mbadi. Mbadi has invited me individually. Mbadi ndiye ameniita hapa. Roots Party wakati ya elections ya 2027, we shall see the way forward on whether to include a candidate or not. But I think for you, we are not going to, I will prevail upon any candidate to oppose you because Baba is still there. Number two, may I apologize to the governor. May I apologize to the governor of this county. Mimi nimeingia hapa na Baba, I'm telling you directly, something's wrong in your office. Wakati nimeingia hapa, madama ameniuliza swali. Akasema, Wajakoya, why were you missing in my meeting? Mimi nikasema sikualikwa. Yeye akasema, but I had your name on the list. I had booked your hotel and I had booked your car. Baba, somebody is wrong in your office. Which informs you Time has come where Baba should be told the truth by the loyal troops like myself. I sacrifice every day. I don't have enough sleep. My law firm doesn't have money, but I sacrifice for Baba. People should not take me for granted. Wangapi wanasema nichukuliwe for granted? Ya tatu, nataka kumshukuru Mheshimiwa James Agri Orengo. Baba, acha nikwambie, among your loyal troops, the man who is very close to me, kati ya watu wako wale ambao wako mbele na wewe, ni James Agri Orengo. James takes care of some of us. James knows what we are going through. Watu wengine wakikudanganya, mimi sitakuomba hata shilingi moja. Manake James is doing what he can do. Governor Baraza is another one. Baraza is also supporting some of us. Paulo Tuoma is also supporting some of us. Na Mheshimiwa Senator, you are patriots. You are patriots. You are looking at Baba's people who are suffering. Mimi nakula tear gas when decisions are made, Wajakoya is not there. Kweli rongo? Na mimi nataka kuambia kwamba 2027 Baba bado yuko. Kama Baba hata kwako, I'm the next president of this country. Na nimewachia hapo. Thank you.
Aya, Bwana Uhuru kama adwadi golo gudu kainewe wirundi mara moja.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is it, how it went down in Suba South today as the ODM brigade met na Wajakoya na chama yake ya Roots Party, akitoa malalamishi pale kwamba barua zake hasifiki. So mimi nashindwa, anatumia ofisi ya ODM kupokea barua. Roots ya party haina ofisi, haina address, ama ni kipi kinachoendelea? Utaniambia hapo kwa comments kama una la kusema, kwa sababu mimi nashindwa. Wajakoya si ni presidential candidate, ako na ofisi zake. So Wanga alikuwa anamkaribisha kupitia ODM, kupitia Baba's office, or what's happening? That is what I couldn't put together. But all in all, that's politics. Na katika siasa kuna vuta ni kuvute. Kwa mambo haya yote ukweli utajulikana tu. So na I'm happy that every political party is revamping and building up themselves. Very, very vital. And I'm for it 100%. For it 100%. Even for every political party to field in a presidential candidate. Wacha kieleweke kwa debe. Hii maneno ya pre-arrangement inakubebesha mizigo mrefu, mizigo mingi. I think 2022 elections would have gone differently if we had every political party doing their bit and securing the elections. This coalition thing is becoming problematic for management in terms of shared responsibilities. Some people are, bringing laxity into serious engagement and letting down others. And so let's grow our political parties and let the political parties zijitose kwa uwanja tuone nani ni nani wapi. Asante kwa kila mmoja. Reverend Lala, are you still there? Okay, it appears Reverend Lala is not there. Now, nataka kutamatisha kuwakumbusha tu kama hujapiga kura yako unaipiga kwa Sound Candy Talk ama Sound Candy Talk live. And then in conclusion, I would want to play this analysis one more. Where is this? Right. Okay. Let me just pick it so that we flow with it without problem. Okay. One moment. Here we go. I think we must open a new one. Just hold on. I'll be playing this in conclusion, just to give you a perspective of where we are coming from, and what position we must do we must take in order for us to accurately analyze our politics, where it's headed, and I mean, in view of our history, the character of the people involved in the game, and then, of course, we get there in good time. So one of the people that I have the greatest respect for in political analysis is Chris Kumekucha. He's a veteran. He has been in this longer than most of us. He has a background in journalism, so and we are talking about genuine journalism, when journalism was still journalism, where people went out of the way to get to the bottom of the truth before reporting. It's not what is affected by social media nowadays, that you run around and you run to put up a story because if you don't, somebody else will do. So you want to be the first one to post the story, but you have not done the background checkup. You have not confirmed most of what you want to share. And so in the process, we have a lot of what is being shared that is not confirmed and is creating a lot of confusion. So one of the things that endear me to Kumekucha is his detailed analysis, checking, counter-checking, confirmation, and so that what he shares is credible and reliable. So I'll be sharing his latest video with us in closing of our show, as we link up again later in the subsequent shows. But more than that, let's remain vigilant. Let's do what we must do to save this country once and for all. So let's get this out of the way and then we close together. But tuendelee kutuma michango yetu, tumalize masuala ya kulipa bills. Asante sana, naomba tumakinike kwa haya.
And especially how it is reported. Let me just give you an example to prove my point. Raila Odinga on several occasions has been quoted as saying, "Who is controlling Kenyan politics?" and especially how it is reported. Let me just give you an example to prove my point. Raila Odinga on several occasions has been quoted as saying, I, Raila Odinga, am going nowhere. Baba is going nowhere. I'm still here in the thick and thin of Kenyan politics. Have you seen that in the media? What we have in the media instead is Raila's succession. Who is taking over from Raila? What we have in the media instead is Ruto is gaining power. Yeah, he has now completely neutralized the opposition. Of course, relying to this Raila AU narrative. Yeah, and now he's heading towards a situation where he'll be in total control. Okay, isn't that what we're seeing in our media? So I ask the question again: who is controlling the way politics is reported in Kenya, the way politics is analyzed in Kenya? Yeah, because what we're seeing in our media is not accurate. It does not portray the true position on the ground in the nation called Kenya, politically. Now, coming back to linking events, we can link the current situation in the country, yeah, to the launch of the narrative that Raila is leaving Kenya to concentrate on an African Union job that will keep him so busy. The job does not even allow him to involve himself in local politics. Remember the launch of that narrative? We can link the current situation very neatly to the launch of that Raila AU. Manenos. Bottom line, it is all part of a very carefully planned, well-oiled propaganda narrative that has swept over Kenya. And that propaganda plan also had this channel, yeah, in its program. And it is interesting to note that after my comment in the last video about the Itumbi boys, wametuliza boli, okay? And those who have commented are commenting carefully, okay? But I will continue to delete and to block aggressively to keep bad air from the comments area of this channel. Let us debate, let us even disagree. That is okay. Yeah, but let's not have that nonsense, propaganda nonsense from UDA on this channel. Something else the media is not reporting about: the Kenyan shilling, after a few days of surprising Kenyans by strengthening amazingly against major foreign currencies. That strengthening stopped suddenly, and now the Kenyan shilling is stuck around 144, 145, 146 Kenyan shillings, exchanging to the US dollar. It is stuck there. It is oscillating there. But all indications are that it will start losing to the major foreign currencies again very soon. Those are the indications. And now I want to do something we never do on this channel, but it is for a very good reason. One thing we never do on this channel is to tell you, we told you so. We predicted this. It has come to pass. We never do that. And this is very deliberate. And so my apologies for doing it today. And please understand that the very good reason is to prove to you what is coming. Yeah? And what we must prepare ourselves for. Yeah? It needs careful preparations. And it is a matter of life and death. We said on this channel very early on that Kenya has entered the season of judgment. And we also said the season of judgment always comes with the season of exposure. They are co-joint twins. Why? So that as the judgment unfolds, evil is exposed. So that nobody will be able to turn around and say, Why the judgment? Kenya is holy. We are holy. We're doing better than that country and the other country. Nobody will be able to turn around and say that. Why? Because of the exposure. More recently, when Kenyans were complaining about the heat wave, it was so uncomfortably hot, we said on this channel, excessive heat is almost always followed by excessive rain, floods, etc., etc. We also said on this channel that the visit to the country by controversial Benny Hinn from the United States of America, the visit by Benny Hinn will be followed by a response from Almighty God to show us clearly, for everybody to see whether that visit was a blessing or it was something else. I don't think it was a coincidence that the crusade, massive mega crusade in Nairobi by Benny Hinn, was followed by windy rain in Nairobi, especially around Kiambu Road. And the news of that was broken by somebody who is very high up and very close to the UDA government. I don't think that was a coincidence. Dennis Itumbi was the first on Twitter to tell us that windy rain had caused havoc, especially along Kiambu Road. Trees fell on the road. People were trapped there, some of them for the whole night with their vehicles. Infrastructure was damaged. Electrical poles came down because of the very strong winds and rain. And large chunks of that area of Nairobi went without electricity for many, many hours. I believe it was not a coincidence that actually this response was reported by Itumbi himself, Itumbi Dennis himself, and at around the time the crusade was winding up, we had news from Cameroon, something that has never happened before.
Stop out tapping. That's trading.
We were informed that a Kenyan runner, Charles Kipsang, had collapsed and died even before crossing the finishing line of a race, a cross-country race in that country. Bwana Kipsang was only 32 years old. Kenyan runners are world famous, but this has never happened before, ever in our history, that one of our runners during a race collapses and passes on. In my opinion, all this was a response to that crusade, including the very unfortunate accident in Busia, where an oil tankard collided head-on with a bus, a Tahimid bus, carrying passengers. And there was a fire after that. And all the victims who succumbed in that accident were burnt beyond recognition. Now, for the sake of the non-spiritual, blessings are very simple. It is not a complicated thing. If you're blessed, you're blessed. If somebody visits you and pronounces certain things, and pronounces blessings from Almighty God, then there should be no debate. It should be very clear that after so-and-so left the country, this and that good thing happened. Okay? And so for avoidance of doubt, what good thing has happened? Tell me. Now, on to what is coming. Okay? Now we have seen floods. We have seen many, many disasters in our country. And now What is going to unfold shortly is hunger, jar, food shortages. All this in line with the judgment season that has hit Kenya. Okay? And those who in doubt, review judgments of Almighty God in the Bible. Most of them include something called hunger, famine. Now I also know many people are not farmers. Many people hate farming. Many people on this channel believe that farming is for the poor and hopeless. Those people have no other option. So I need to inform you this, because I know some of you are asking, we have received so much rain, in fact too much. How does hunger follow that? Well, the answer is very simple. In farming, too little rain is a bad thing. Okay? However, too much rain in farming is a disaster because it destroys crops. It sweeps away crops. In fact, too little rain or no rain at all is better because you have options. You can opt for irrigation, emergency irrigation to save your crops. There are things you can do, but with floods, there is absolutely nothing anybody can do. Now, with hunger comes something called desperation. So you can be sure crime is going to go overboard. Yeah, people are desperate, including people who do not have character, which is a vast majority of Kenyans, I'm afraid. And also keep in mind that all these things that have been happening to Kenya, bad things, have been cumulative. Yeah, there are those people who are first hit by floods, and then later on were hit by losing their jobs. Some lost their businesses. It is cumulative. It is accumulating. It is piling up. So that by the time we're hit by hunger, there are so many other things which are wrong, which will make it that more difficult for us to maneuver or escape hunger. Now, since 2019 on this channel, we have been promoting, encouraging people to have their own small gardens. I have been very aggressively promoting vertical sack farming. And although it is almost too late, I somehow believe it is not entirely too late for people to start thinking very seriously about their food supply. And in case you're yet to take in my landmark video series on how to survive or even prosper in a dead economy, I strongly recommend and suggest that you do so. You can see details on your screens right now. I strongly recommend this because it also talks about food and what to do in a hunger situation, because that is what is coming. And because many of you sponsored other Kenyans, I received a very good response from that. Today I'm able to reduce the price of this very valuable information. You can see details on your screens right now. Please act quickly. And therefore today, I am delighted to report that I have reduced the price. And you can see details on your screens right now.
My name is Munzir Dale. I'm a professor of electrical engineering and computer science at MIT. The partnership that...
Please, this thing can even help your family back in Kenya, in case you're out of the country. And although my focus is Kenya, I have this feeling that many, many other countries will be hit by similar dire circumstances. Now, concerning our politics, I believe it is also part of the well-coordinated propaganda plan that UDA politicians tone down on their criticism of the opposition, so as to sell the narrative that a handshake has actually taken place secretly between Raila and Ruto. After all, we saw them in a photograph. They are talking. There must be a handshake. That is the narrative being promoted. And that is why you'll see headlines of UDA politicians saying they're supporting Raila for the AU post, as if their support matters. Doesn't. You will see UDA politicians saying nice things about Raila and the opposition. It is all part of a carefully put together script to fool Kenyans, to make Kenyans give up on Raila and the opposition, to make Kenyans hopeless, and told the UDA and Ruto line by force because they have no other options. However, the reality is very different. Okay? This government will continue to face obstacles that they cannot find a way out of. Let me give you a quick example. After all the efforts, after all the money spent on the housing levy manenos, after all the politics and speeches and everything, even on talk shows, the housing levy is about to encounter an obstacle it will never be able to go through. What obstacle is that? Well, housing is a national or is it a county responsibility? That function belongs where? To the national government or to the county government? Please answer that question. Well, I believe most of us know. Housing is a county function. Okay? And as we speak, there are many, many Kenyans who have already been displaced because of this affordable housing agenda. And there are many others who have been given quit notices, most notably in Nairobi, around the Jogoo Road area. People who have lived there for decades, people who were born there, people whose grandfathers were there are being evicted. Now, when all this is unfolding, and more Kenyans wake up, some of them go to court, some of them look for other means of protecting themselves. As all this is happening, the affordable housing project will hit that obstacle of what is a national government doing? Very busy, spending so much money on a county function. And that one, the affordable housing can never get out of. Okay, mark my words. You know, you can pass many bills, you can pass many laws. However, if those laws are unconstitutional, if those laws contradict the Constitution, then you can be sure it is only a matter of time before they will be kwisha maneno. Okay? And the affordable housing thing is no exception. Now, admittedly, there is mounting evidence that Raila Odinga is playing along with this narrative of AU. For instance, he is telling us that he's campaigning for this post. However, in my opinion, he is playing along with the powerful for convenience. His heart is not there. And that is why Raila is still saying the same things he was saying before. He's still hitting out at the government. although the media is carefully avoiding what Raila is saying. The whole narrative in the media is drowning anything that Raila may want to say, that would excite his supporters, that would excite Kenyans, like throwing barbs at the government. And even on the few occasions when it is reported, it is not prime news. It is downplayed, an afterthought, so that most Kenyans miss it. I believe all that is deliberate. And what does all this tell us? It tells us that there are very, very powerful forces at play here. There are very well-financed forces at play here. But it also tells us, if you can keep your emotions aside for a minute, that Raila is still fighting. It's only that he has been forced by circumstances to change a few things here and there. But it is still the same Raila. But having said that, I have a very strong feeling, and it is my opinion, it is not Raila who will save Kenya. No. It is not another leader who will come out of the woodwork and save Kenya. No way. So who will save Kenya? Kenya, like what happened in Sudan with al-Bashir, who was a very powerful military dictator. But he went home.
Today, I got to tell you about how QuickBooks helps me hustle. QuickBooks gives me easy to understand reporting and dashboard tools so I can stay on top of my numbers as a rest.
Kenya, like Sudan, will be saved by long-suffering, ordinary Kenyans. And so, it is not very relevant. Oh, Raila is doing this, oh, Raila is doing that, oh, Raila has sold out, oh, Raila has betrayed. I'm afraid that is not very relevant, considering what is coming and considering what, in my opinion, is going to happen. That should be the good news. Please allow me to speak in parables. You can have a very cowardly dog somewhere. Immediately your hands go to the ground as if you're going to pick a stone. That dog flees at top speed. Even the eyes of that dog show you very clearly it is a cowardly dog. But then one day, that dog is cornered. It reaches a place where there are walls on all sides. And the only way it can escape is through the tiny entrance where you're standing. And that is the day you discover that that cowardly dog still has its fangs. It still has its teeth. And that cowardly dog ends up doing you some serious damage. Peace-loving, long-suffering Kenyans, in my opinion, are being increasingly pushed into that corner with walls on all sides. What do you envisage is going to happen next? Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is it from Chris Kumekucha desk on the analysis of the current situation and what we are being kept from seeing as well as appreciating. We are calling it a day. I don't know, Reverend Lala, you're still there. There is a request from Philemon. Reverend Lala, are you there?
Yes, Bernard.
Okay, there is a request from Philemon. He says some of the speeches given in the Homa Bay meeting was in Luo language. And so
Yeah.
he would wish to have it explained in brief in Swahili for him to catch what was going on in Homa Bay. If you got it, please help out as you give your closing remarks to Nafo Maliza.
Which prayer was that?
No, there was some part of which was spoken by Benesuda in Luo. Some, I think Mbade also spoke something in Luo, and they were mixing languages. So it feels like what was being spoken in Luo was coded for a purpose.
They are just normal. There's nothing really coded that much, So there's nothing really standing on in any of those unless I hear them again. But those really nothing. It's just the regular talks in a function like that. Yeah. Unless I listen to them, then I can respond. Yeah.
So, thank you. I think you can give your closing remarks. We out of here.
Oh, well, yes. This is to Kenyans, especially to Christians. The Bible introduces us to a young man named Samuel. Samuel is a model of a prophet. If you're looking for prophets, Samuel is a model. If you read 1 Samuel 3 from 18 to the end, it tells us about the kind of young man this young man was. This is a young man who was not supposed to be there because the mother was barren. And the mother prayed and asked God, if you give me a male son, I will give this child back to you. And the story is very traumatizing to most of us in our time, when a mother would take her own child to live in another man's home in the temple, right, in Shiloh, because she had made a vow to God. But this woman had faith and trust that it will be well with her son. And it was really well with her son. So from day one, Samuel knew that something was special about him. That is the mark of a prophet. And while he was there, God began to speak with him or to him and calls him. Initially, he was just being faithful, doing the job right. He was a model. He was there. People would see him. And we are told that even the influence of the priest children who were there did not touch him. Here was someone who had a mission, and the mission was to be a prophet to the nation. And finally, the Bible tells us that in that verse stated 3:18, that his reputation began to grow. Everyone knew this man was different because his words, the Bible is very clear there. It's like every prophetic word he uttered was accurate. In other words, he was not someone who'd predict 10 things and 3 of them come to pass. No, he spoke as God moved him. His word did not fall to the ground. That was the prophet. His life was impeccable. He had a testimony of what God had done in his life. And then people began to know him, that this man was marked to a prophet. He did not put his name prophet so and so. He did not give that title like we give them to our people these days. People knew that this was a prophet of God. And I pray that Kenya, the church, will know who the prophets really are in our need, so that we don't get this confusion. Now, coming to politics back home, there are so many prophets of doom that are talking about rubbish. They're lying to us, and they want to confuse us. And let's see this as the devil's advocate. That's what they're doing. They're telling us what Azimio is all about. They're telling us what Baba is doing. It just like has been stated. Kamukucha did a good job, and Bernard, you've done a good job. Kenyans must not be lured to by these false prophets that are out there in the name of the church. It's very embarrassing that most of these guys call themselves Christian and they talk about what they don't know. Baba is with us. I'm sure we will know exactly what he wants, how he wants it, but as far as we are concerned, Baba has gone nowhere. He has gone nowhere. He's here with us. It is us who believe in him that should be talking, but here people don't even know what's going on. And again, the core points that these guys are trying to make, that Baba has abandoned us, or Baba is this, or Baba is that, those are decoys. Those are ways to Ruto to be relevant. The problem we have in Kenya is one: we have a fake president. We have someone we don't elect, and things you don't follow things correctly. But because it's in that office, of course the country functions. Of course we have to rely on the system. But for him as a person, as Ruto, is not orderly in office, but the country has to go on, and Baba has to use the system as it is, so that he can be able to continue doing what he does. But for us, he's still with us, he's by us, and all of you as Emil, candidate talk followers, Baba has not changed. Baba is not cheap where he can be bought by a little something, In fact, when I hear these people talk, it just shows how cheap they are, those who are talking, that how cheap they can be bought like that. So my prayer is that we stay strong, we stay focused on truth and justice. That's the key word. Truth and justice, that's the key word. And for that, we are willing to give anything so that we can liberate our country and follow the true north that will lead us to where we go as a nation together. Thank you very much, Brother Bernard, and baraka nyingi. Asante kwa kazi unafanya, kazi kwa kazi shupavu na Wakenya wenzangu. Bwana pamoja nasi, tunaamini justice is coming, tunaamini there's no peace for the wicked, tunaamini that we will prevail. And Baba, wherever he is our leader. Thank you.
Asante sana. Thank you so much, Reverend Lala. We appreciate that. A great closing remark indeed. And of course, we must all reevaluate and recheck, counter-check everything in order for us to buy into the same. Probably as I close, we talk about loyalty. And loyalty is absolute, complete, faithful stand about your leader that you choose by yourself to follow that leader to a level whereby giving up on that leader is not an option. And if that leader is painted in otherwise light, you should be the last person to switch position because you're loyal. Okay, so loyalty is faithful. Jesus, referring to the disciples, said, "These are the ones who have continued with me through my tribulation. Now I appoint unto them the kingdom." So there is a tribulation, there will be confusion, there will be unbelievable stories, but loyalty will require you to go beyond all that because you know whom you have believed and you're persuaded that this one does not cross this line. So when you are told that he crossed, you shouldn't be the first person to fall for it and swallow it, sink and hook. No, let's be vigilant. William Ruto and his machinations are all going to confound them in their wiseness, cleverness. You can't be clever than God. So let them push the narrative, let them push the propaganda, but it will catch them. Kenya is not for one person. Kenya is for all Kenyans. Reverend, you're saying something?
You know, Bernard, I wanted just to say this, that for us in Azimio, for us who believe in truth and justice, good governance, let us stand strong. And I want to just share an experience I had. We usually have what we call mock drills to see how readiness, we have disaster readiness, okay? And so I was put in charge of the gate of the airport, okay? And we have this drill where we put the actual planes, the 77, some of this Boeing on fire. We want to see how to respond. We alert all the hospitals, and we have maybe university students as casualties, and we demonstrate, how that is being done. And this one was supposed to be some disaster. Terrorists had attacked the U.S., and I was put in charge of the gate. While I was in charge of the gate, a general from Washington, D.C., the headquarters, came with all his uniform. He was dressed like the general, okay? The man came to the gate, and I stopped him. I said, sir, you have to identify yourself before you can go in. And this is a guy who is a major guy, but I stopped him. And I was trembling, I was scared, what's gonna happen to me? And finally, at the end of the drill, of course, he had to identify himself. They actually commended me because I was able to do my job. It doesn't matter who came there, whether it is a president, whoever comes, had to stop because the law had to be obeyed. And so that was an area where they commended me that I'd done the right thing. This is what we need in Kenya. When you are given authority, you have that, whether you're a judge, wherever you are, it is the law. It is the law. If somebody has stolen an election, somebody is sending our soldiers, our young people, to a place they should not be, police to Haiti, against the law. If the housing, which is supposed to be, the function of the county, is being taken over, this is what is killing our nation. This is what, in my situation, is how terrorists come in to destroy a nation simply because we compromise in a very small way. That small way, this man tried to got in. If he was a bad guy, he could have done more damage to the airport. Okay, this was an airport, and so my fellow Kenyans, nobody's coming to rescue us. It is us to do it. It is us to step forward. We don't want to be maintenance people because the white people, the colonizers, gave us a nation. Now we just maintain it. We are supposed to build it. We are supposed to start afresh and create a structure that is worthy of being called a free, democratic, a prosperous nation, because the earth can see it. The world can see who we are because we obey the law. The law is everything. And so let's not get carried away by development, or if we just can start doing good things, then therefore we are okay. No, at the end of the day, it is the law that will hold the structure of democracy or the economy strong. If you have the laws, people obey those laws. Right now, we are in trouble because of this election thing. that has to be corrected. It has to be corrected. And Baba is with us, and you cannot, leave your feet off the paddle. We keep on pushing it down, and let's keep on doing one Azimio. Let's stay together. Anyone who is looking for power, trying to take over from Baba, it is not the time to talk about taking over here and there. It's a time to fight for those ideals. And so when people are juggling around, give me power, what power are you going to build on? You're just like Ruto then, because you're not asking the question that should be asked. How are we building our democracy? How are we building our foundation? Where is the foundation for the nation? Where is where are the laws? Where's the constitution in all this? Those are the hard questions that we need to work on. Not about who is up here, who is there, who is down. No, it's about all of us working together to bring justice and truth to our nation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that, Reverend Lala. And the law has to be followed no matter in whose eyes and who is involved. Being true requires that we adhere to all requirements. There is something here that Robert has commented on the comment section, and he says, I agree with the Jimmy Wanjiki. Ruto should visit Haiti before he can send our men and women over there. I think the Prime Minister should offer that invite, and Ruto should land there, let him assess the ground, and then if he sees it is good for him, then he can also now recommend our young people to go there. But for now, let it remain debatable and then, of course, resistible by Kenyans. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have to go. It's a few minutes to 3 a.m. East African time. We have other programs we run in the morning. So please, let's keep at Sound Candy Talk. Let's support the channel. Let's keep sharing the video to reach more people. The show is closed does not mean the video is gone. The video is still on, and keep sharing it so that we have more people joining and viewing the entirety of what went on while they were away. So don't quit at the closure of the show and assume that it's over. It's not over. There are people who got us halfway, others got us at the tail end. They need to catch the whole of the story. So keep sharing that link in your WhatsApp, in your Facebook, and you can even send it as a text message. Just copy the link and let somebody test this. And those of you belonging to various groups, like there are some Azimio Kisii fraternity, Azimio Coast fraternity, there are political different formation. Just share that link in those groups. You will get more people to enjoy and, of course, learn from what we are sharing right here. God bless you. Let's meet again in the next show.